here in high school football. The 70th meeting ever between these two fine schools. The series is Portsmouth 33, Concord 31, and there have been 5 ties. And the first game ever was back in 19... team 10-2, and I'm wondering if they had a night like this. Bruce, this is just absolutely picture perfect here in the middle of the football season. As a matter of fact, we're just a notch above the halfway mark, and the conditions are ideal.
Oh, they really are, Harvey. There's very little breeze at all, just a touch. And as I look up, well, I can't see stars because the lights are on here at Portsmouth. That's a new feature. This is our first ever night game because of the new field and new facilities, and we have had a lot of help getting us on the air tonight. We'll be talking about that as the evening goes along. We do want to tell you that our broadcast tonight brought to you by our good friends and sponsors, the Allied Insurance Agency at 500 South Street at the Bowtown line, where their profession is your insurance. That's another line, but I forgot what it was. Anyway, S&W Sports Shop at 238 South Main Street in Concord. The Horizon Bank on Loudon Road on the Concord Heights, and where they care about you, your business, and your family.
And a member of FDIC.
They sure are. Denroy Shoes on North Main Street in downtown Concord. And the Capital City law firm of Rath, Young, Pignatelli, and Oyer for their clients and for the community as well. And by Bernie Sports, and give him a call. We'll give you his phone number throughout the game tonight, and he'll come to you with whatever sporting needs that you might have. So here we are, Harvey, and boy, it's been a fight getting here, but by golly, we are here and ready to go.
We are, and both teams have been out on this football field for well over a half an hour, loosening up, stretching, and going through their pregame rituals. And Portsmouth, in their Washington Redskin maroon and gold, they look terrific out here. Concord High in its visiting white. They also look like the St. Louis Cardinals on the road. The 70th meeting ever between these two schools. 31 for Concord, 33 for Portsmouth, 5 ties. But I guess the most meaningful stat is that Portsmouth has won 8 of the last 9 meetings. They had won 7 in a row before Concord won a semifinal meeting over here a few years ago. The last 4 games in this series have been shutouts. Portsmouth served shutouts against Concord High in 88 and 89, 10 shutout periods of football. This guy, Tom Dobney, is in his 21st year of coaching. He's 124 and 72, 3 titles here. He's into his 196th game here tonight, and he has really had his number. And first of all, we will as to why he's even back, because he lost his talented son and a talented senior class, and everybody in the Seacoast thought he was going to retire last year.
First of all, Coach, 21 years, respected around the state. I'd like to know why you're back this year. Your son graduated, a talented senior class graduated. You had a great record. The enrollment at Portsmouth is down now with Pease Air Base gone. How come you're back?
Well, to be real honest with you, I have a group of about 7 or 8 seniors that scooped me up right at the end of the year last year and asked me to stay one more. They didn't know what my plans were, but they said, you know, if you're thinking about giving it up, we'd appreciate it if you'd stay one more with us. And I realize that can snowball and happen year after year after year. I'm hoping it doesn't. I haven't decided, and again, it gave me a reason to stay. It's one of those things. I've been at this game 29 years as a coach and about 12 years as a player, and when you give it up, you got to be sure, and I'm not positive I was sure last year.
I think some people overlook that. Maybe a natural time to bow out is, you know, when your son bows out. But, you know, all of his friends come over to the house. I mean, you're closer to that class than maybe other classes that you're going to coach, and so this is a great step for you to stay on, and I'm sure that the community appreciates it over here.
Well, I think that might be true. We've had a lot of coaches leave the ship in the last 2 years. There's a lot of reasons for it, a lot of job changes for people and economic changes for people, but again, we're scrambling to hire 2 basketball coaches right now, both girls and boys, and softball coaches, and you know, we've got a lot of openings here on the athletic staff, so that would have been another spot to fill. I'm sure that they wouldn't have wanted to have to do that.
Your team's 2-2 with 4 games left. 4 to do it this year to get in, I don't think, and you probably think this is a big game for your kids.
Oh, definitely. I told them before the Spalding game that we had to win 2 out of the next 3 to have a shot. I felt that we had to beat Spalding, Concord, or Dover, 2 of those 3 teams to really have a shot, and I'm not sure that's changed.
You know, I'll say to you, you've won 8 of the last 9 out of against Concord, and you'll say to me, like you always have in years past, oh, is that true? I guess I got to go tell my kids and get them pepped up for this game. And then I'm going to come back and say, why have you been successful stopping Jack Gaddy's TE offense?
I think we've had the kids. I think when you've been in the business long enough, as Jack has been, when his team's better, he'll beat me, and when my team's better, I usually beat him. Once in a while, we pull off a fluke, but not very often, and I think that's pretty much statewide. When we've been good, it's because we've had great kids.
Offensively this year, you're pretty solid. You're averaging a little over 3 touchdowns a game, and defensively, you've been up against some good teams. Spalding and Pinkerton have some great offenses, and so you must be pleased at 2-2 with the way it's gone.
With the number of kids that I have, I'm very pleased. I lost 2 starters against Spalding who won't be with us tonight, which we're just so thin right now. If we lose a center, we don't have one. We're going to have to punt and play defense. If we, we're at the point of scramble thin. Offensively, we've gotten a lot of mileage out of little tiny backs who are tougher than hell, and little tiny backs have got to have a place to run. When we run up against teams that we can't block, we don't win. And those are just facts. Those are things that we have to live with. Right now, I'm very pleased with the way those small backs are doing the job. If we can give them a place to run, they'll be fine.
I've heard some coaches say that Pinkerton is on another stratosphere and that everyone else is playing for second place. Do you feel that way? Do you feel Pinkerton can't be beaten this year?
I would say the only way Pinkerton would get beaten is a bus crash on the way to the game. I don't see anybody beating them. They're solid on defense. Everybody talks about their offense. Their defense is solid. They're tough. I don't see anybody beating them. I really don't. It would take. I'm serious. I think it would take a bus crash and a hell of an effort. Those 2 things might get it done.
This is a set between Concord and Portsmouth in football. I know the Portsmouth community respects you, but the state football community respects you too. Thanks for being here tonight, Coach, and we look forward to seeing your team again.
Well, thank you very much.
Good luck.
Harvey Smith with Tom Dodney, the coach of the Portsmouth High School Clippers, on an absolutely perfect night for football here on the Seacoast. This is Bruce LeBoy along with Harvey Smith here for tonight's game, Concord and Portsmouth, a big Class L matchup tonight, and fortunate to receive the help of a whole lot on the air tonight, and we'll be running down some of those folks and let you know just exactly the story of getting here. It has been an effort, but we are here, and we're glad you're out there listening to us on the radio tonight. We have a break to take from Rath Young, Fignatelli & Oyer, one of our fine sponsors back at the station. We'll be back with a chat with Jack Gaddy after this.
High school sports are a source of great interest and pride, not only for the schools involved, but the communities they represent as well. High school sports can help bring a community.
And we hope that you will stop by our fine sponsors and say hello to them as you do your duties around town in the next few weeks or so, and thank them for bringing you high school athletics here on 1450 AM WKXL in Concord. Well, we are on the Seacoast in Portsmouth for tonight's game between the Clippers of Portsmouth High School and the Crimson Tide of Concord High. And Portsmouth and Tom Dobney has always been something of a thorn in the side of Concord High coach Jack Gaddy, whether he was with the Crimson Tide or in the years past with the Trinity High Pioneers. He's always had something ready for a Jack Gaddy coach team. Will it repeat tonight? I don't know. We'll find out in the next few hours here on WKXL. Harvey Smith had a chance to talk with the head man at Concord High just a few moments ago.
Coach, 3-1 at mid-season. I'm sure you're pleased with that, given the schedule that you had. The way you arrived at it, are you pleased with that?
Pretty much so. The thing I'd like to be a little bit better at this point is defense, but last week was encouraging. We had a sound performance at the defensive side with our defensive backs really getting involved in the game, both tackling and covering. So there's some improvement, and like you said, at this point, 3-1 was that was our goal.
The last 2 years in the 18-team Class L division, 4-4 did get into the playoffs, the 8th-place team. You're assuring me pretty much that that's not going to do it this year.
No, in fact, I think a 5-3 team is going to be sitting out, and that's why this game tonight is a big game for both Portsmouth and Concord High School. It's going to tell a lot as far as things to come in the future. We both have some tough games ahead. They've already played Spalding. We have Spalding to play. So this one's a big one for us. We got to get by this group.
Speaking of Portsmouth, in the past, the success hasn't been too good against them, and one of the reasons is that they've been a big play team. It isn't that they've been able to sustain drives against you. It's that they've been able to break big plays time and time again. Do you see that kind of potential in them tonight?
Yes, and the one big concept with them, and I'd like to think with us too, not counting last year, is defensive side. I mean, they've always been tough on defense, and Concord's always been tough on defense. We had a little off year last year, but we're getting it back this year, and you know, that's going to be the big difference for us is playing defense. But Portsmouth is good, and they have the ability to break the long one. Their quarterback does a nice job, does a nice soft touch on the ball, and he can throw deep, throws very deep. And Sean Croto, the little runner, he's got great speed, good quickness, and we're going to have to be really on our toes. It seems like every week we're facing a back that has great quickness and speed, so we've had enough work against it.
You mentioned Portsmouth defense being tough against Concord in past years. I asked Coach Dobney why he's been successful against the T, and he says he's had good kids. Well, other teams have had good kids also. What is it that he really does technically, Jack?
He coaches well. He's consistent. The program's a good program, and Tom and his staff do an excellent job in coaching their kids. But they've had good kids in the past, and when they haven't, we were able to run the ball on Portsmouth. When I was at Trinity, I can remember in '85, we moved the ball very well against them. So, you know, there have been years. In '89, we moved the ball well, even though we lost 7-0. And then we came back in the championship game and moved the ball, you know, as well in 121. So sometimes it's not what you play, it's who you play it with.
The one Concord win in the last 9 games was in the semifinals, and I guess you could say that's the game that really counted. And yet, what won the game for you guys, big plays. You had some great long-distance runs, and your defense came up with 5 interceptions. I imagine tonight, knowing you the way I do, you'd like to get back to ball control and sustaining that ball on offense for a while.
That's what we got to do. And like tonight after this game, if I could look back and say, well, I think we're on our way because, like I said, last week we played well. We put it together both on offense and defense. And defensively, we got a better picture last week against Exeter. And if we could do the same tonight, I think we're on our way to a good year.
When you have a Jack Gaddy going against Tom Dobney, you're talking about 325 varsity games between the two of you. It's a great treat for the fans. But what about you coaches? Is it a treat for you guys or not?
I have fun coaching against Tom, and I'm sure likewise. We've been at it for a long time. I can remember being on this field back in '78, my first year as head coach, and you know he was in it about 8 years already at Portsmouth, and I was a young, nervous coach. That was my second game that year, so it was a treat. He relaxed me that year.
I just want to know, the fans know right now you've got a great smile on your face, and that's a good sign. Good luck tonight, Coach.
Thanks, Harvey.
There it is, Jack Gaddy, just moments ago here in this beautiful field here. They have renovated the athletic complex here at Portsmouth, and the field is well manicured. New lights here. They used to play night football here in Portsmouth, but it was at the junior high field, south side, I believe. It's down by the hospital, and
nobody could ever find it anyway.
That's
so it
right.
didn't matter where they
used
played.
to have night baseball and night football down there in the 50s and the 60s, but never here, right behind their school. They also have an outstanding field hockey set up with lights, and there was a field hockey game in progress as we came in under the lights.
Portsmouth was
really
leading
nice.
that game 1-0, but I hear that Keene came back and won it.
Oh, wow.
So 2 goals late in the game apparently won it for the Blackbirds.
Well, we talk about 2 great coaches tonight, Tom Dobney and Jack Gaddy. Head-to-head, Dobney leads the series 8-4. Jack is 1-5 at Concord High against Tom Dobney. He was 3-3 at Trinity High. Overall, against Concord, Tom Dobney is 13-8 in the 20 years of coaching football. This is his 21st year at the helm for Portsmouth. There have only been 2 coaches in the entire 70-year history of the series between Concord and Portsmouth who have a winning record against these Portsmouth Clippers. One of them is Dick Martin, who was 11-7 with 2 ties against the Clippers, and the other one was Easy Ed Sarika, who was in his 3 years beat Portsmouth twice for 2-3 or 2-1. Dave Surratt, you ask, who had a championship in '74, he was 2-3 against the Clippers, and Don LeBrun was 2-4, and the 2 losses, or 2 of the 4 losses were really barn burners, and one of the wins was an outstanding 16-13 thing in overtime. But we are getting ready to kick it off here in 1991, Concord and Portsmouth. It should be a beauty. Concord at 3-1, Portsmouth at 2-2, and this game has major repercussions for the playoffs upcoming next month. We will be back with the starting lineup and the kickoff right after this. Stay with us.
At the Allied Insurance Agency, their motto, your protection is our profession, is practiced daily. Their professional staff is truly at your service when it comes to protecting you and your business.
Under the lights for the first time in many a year, and the first time ever within sight of the high school here in the Port City, as we have the Concord High Crimson Tide set to do battle against the Portsmouth High School Clippers just a few moments away. And we do want to mention some people who made this broadcast possible. First of all, let me tell you that 2 days ago when I came into the station, our sports director, Jim Janide, told me, first of all, you guys are going to be outside because they have a tiny press box here and they have a radio and a TV station already doing the game, and we are outside. But I do want to thank Wayne Lee, and that's a name that some folks around the Concord area may recognize. Wayne is from Bow, and he is on the custodial staff over here at Portsmouth, and he came over here and set us up in fine fashion with a little bit of a platform that is fixed to the bleachers. We are not as rickety as we first were when we first arrived. We have a nice table here that we brought with us from home. The bleachers fit our table, Harvey, and it works out really well. So many, many thanks to Wayne Lee. Also want to thank the folks with the phone company. 2 years ago when this field was redone, apparently some of the excavation and whatnot cut the conduit that carries all the phone lines from their main box up at the school building over here to the field. And if you can believe it, in a season and a half, we are the first visiting radio station to come and need a phone line. And so they virtually rewire everything from the school over here to the press box so that we could have this broadcast on the air for you tonight. They've spent over the last 2 days about 12 to 14 hours working on this, and because they had some other problems too. At 4 o'clock this afternoon, it was still not definite that we'd be able to do this football game tonight. But they were over here with blowers blowing dirt out of conduit and everything else. They've got us here. We're on the air. It sounds like a good, clean line on this end. We hope it is for you folks back there. But many, many thanks to the folks from New England Tel and to Wayne Lee from Bow here on the Portsmouth custodial staff who set us up in fine business here. And the whole setup over here, it was a very big concern for the last 24 hours for this broadcaster. I know, Harvey, we didn't even tell you about it till this afternoon.
No, I'm cool. I'm relaxed. I'm ready to go.
We didn't worry about it either. So
anyway, we are here. Sports score before this thing kicks off.
Yeah.
And this is one of the most incredible sports stories you're going to hear this fall, folks.
That's right.
The Concord High golf team struggled all season long, had one of its poorest won-loss records of the last 10 years. Just qualified last week to get into the playoffs, and today pulled off the state title, and the state golf champions, as all 6 of their starting kids had outstanding days. They put it together at the right time up there in Laconia, and the Concord High under Billy Harbeck Jr., New Hampshire 1991 state golf champions. Unbelievable.
Concord High number 1, Bishop Girton came in number 2, and Dover and Nashua came in number 3, and I understand the Manchester schools finished below that in order. So we have an opportunity now to take another 60-second break. We'll be back with more from Portsmouth after this.
With the basketball season coming, it's time for teams to be ordering uniforms and supplies. The best way to do that is by calling Jim Burney at Burney Sports in Concord. At Burney Sports, you'll select from the latest in uniforms, sports clothing, and equipment, and they specialize in team jackets with a great choice of sizes, colors, and styles. Best of all, you won't have to travel all over the state because Jim Burney will come to your home or office. If you're outfitting a basketball team this winter, call Burney Sports now at 224-2131, 224-2131. At Horizon Bank, we're proud to serve you, our neighbors and friends, because working together, we've made this community strong. Please visit us often and let us know how we're doing at Horizon Bank. We care about making our services as complete and convenient as possible. Through continued teamwork, we'll ensure your success and the success of the entire community. Now that's financial muscle. Together, we're strong. Horizon Bank and Trust, 197 Loudon Road, Concord, member FDIC.
Okay, we are back here in Portsmouth, and the way it is going to set up is that Concord High School will receive the opening kickoff, going from left to right across your radio dial. The Portsmouth Clippers setting up, getting ready from right to left in what is a huge game for both of these teams. Portsmouth comes in at 2-2. Concord High School, of course, comes in at 3-1. Both with eyes on the state championship and or at least the playoffs. Championship more or less already conceded, I guess, unless we have that bus crash.
I'm not buying that theory, though. No? I think that Concord High and Spalding can give the Pinkerton Astros a go. I really do.
I agree with you. I was just quoting the coach.
I know. Every coach I talk to says it's over. Pinkerton is just too far ahead of the field, but I don't really see it that way. They're just high school kids.
And everybody has a bad game from time to time, but Pinkerton, when they are playing at their best, are a very, very good football team. Make no mistake about it. We have some sort of a delay here. Concord all set to go. The referee with his arm in the air. However, the Portsmouth High School Clippers are still, there goes the whistle. But the Clippers huddle at their own 35-yard line. Now they spread out from right to left across the field. And with Concord High School football, here's Harvey Smith.
All right, thanks, Bruce Lavoie, and we are underway. And before the ball comes down in front of the Concord High backs, back at the 5-yard line, they are calling offsides against Portsmouth, and they're going to back the Clippers up and to make them kick it all over again. Shane Stafford is back there, along with Eddie Ekstrom, to this deep.
If I look up from time to time, Harvey, it's because I'm looking for a full moon. Because I'll tell you, this has been a strange happening for the last couple of days as far as the radio broadcast goes, and now an offside on the kickoff. Where are we going from here?
You know what's taking so long? The poor guy keeps counting the Concord players on the field, and math's not one of his better subjects. It's taken him a long time. So Portsmouth's going to kick it off again. The talented foot of Sean Croto gets it in the air. It is Tony Ross at the 20, out to the 30, cracks across the 35, and then he gets thrown down at about the 37 or 38-yard line. Good advance of the kickoff by Don Ross, and Concord High will put it into play right there.
It will be a 1st and 10 for the Crimson Tide on a very matured field. And I almost said lawn because it looks like a lawn out there. They are at their own 39-yard line, 1st and 10 for Concord, just underway here. And an exciting night for football. We hope you stay with us here on WKXL AM.
T formation for the Tide to start this thing off. In the slot is Shane. Fake to the fullback and a give to the halfback. And Matty Ekstrom gets the first call, and Portsmouth right there at the line of scrimmage. I'll tell you, Portsmouth defensively has been very, very tough against this Concord High T offense over the last few years under Jack Gaddy. Tom Dobney brings everybody up. He sticks the linebackers in the hole. The linemen get down low, and they submarine the Concord linemen, and it's really tough to crack through there.
Concord picked up about 1.5 yards on that play. It's a 2nd down and 8.5 yards to go. They're just over the 40-yard line, their own 40.
Mike Mayo in there at fullback now. The call goes to Ekstrom, and he dives up over left tackle. Dave Lossage and Eric Woods threw lead blocks, and Tom Marshall came across from his guard position. The pulling guard had hit the end, and it allowed the ball carrier Ekstrom up in there. But I'll tell you, the yardage came very, very tough.
It sure did. He's out to the 44, pick up 4 yards on the play, brings up a 3rd down and 5, and this is a big play right here. And I know it's only been 2 plays into the ball game, Harvey, but what I've noticed so far is that nobody's going after Ryan McGonigal as he fakes toward the end. I wonder if he's going to run that before too much longer.
Well, the ball is on the right hash mark. A lot of running room on that left side. In the slot is Milligan on the right side. Backs a split to snap. McGonigal's fading out. He's got the ball in the air. He loops it downfield, and the big guy heads it. Savoy. Completion? No, he drops it at the Portsmouth 45-yard line. He headed for a long period of time, but the referee said that not long enough, and as he crashed to the ground, he couldn't quite hang on to it, and it goes as an incomplete pass.
That is exactly the case. He is basically head and shoulders above everybody in the Portsmouth to reach up and grab it, but as he started to pull it down, he was just hit, and it shook loose. Have a punting situation, 4th and 5 from Concord's 44.
Dave Lossage is in for 4. It's a high snap. McGonigal has to jump up in the air. He gets it down, and he puts a spiral up over the lights. Portsmouth backs off, and they're going to let this ball land at around the 20-yard line as it takes a Concord High roll from the 30 down to the 20-yard line, and the Clippers will get the ball first for them tonight right at the 20-yard line.
Well, 4 yards and a cloud of dust basically for Concord High School as they had to punt it away after just 4 plays. And indeed, they will have the ball right on the, is it the 19? Wait till they put it down. No, it is right on the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 for Portsmouth at their own 20.
All right, the Clippers with a diversified offense, backs a split. They have a receiver flanked wide on the left side. Jason Lodge, a 6'2 senior quarterback, spins around, gives it to the second halfback through the line, and Sean Croto on the carry is stacked up, but he got about a 2-yard gain, but Concord closed it. Portsmouth's really, really good at those little delays and counters and faking the one back and giving it to another, but Concord was on it right then.
Yeah, Croto brought it out to about the 22-yard line, maybe about 2.5 yards to give them, but it's 2nd down and 8, and they are at their own 22-yard line.
Defensively for the Tide, Tim Thompson and Andy Funk down inside. Dave Lossage and Blake Savoy. Those are the 4. Mayo, Marshall, Milligan, and new guy Stafford backing them up. Croto on the carry, right side. He's got some running room. He's over the 30, the 40, breaks a cut at the 45, and he has run out of bounds, and they'll back it up to about the 42, but he is a quick back. Sean Croto, a 5'7" senior, was a player last year, Bruce, who ran for a 36-yard touchdown against Concord High. He's a good one. He has great breakaway speed, as you saw right there.
That's right. He picked up 19 yards on the play out to the 41-yard line, the initial first down of the ball game, and Portsmouth is in pretty good shape here with 8:50 left here in the first quarter. No score.
Croto is in the slot now on the right side. Backs a split behind Jason Lodge. Peter Gordon and Keith Moody behind him. Fake the one back, and they give it to Keith Moody, and he gets stopped. Maybe a yard gain. Nice little slash off tackle. But Concord High again limits short yardage on that first down play.
It is a 2-yard pickup out to the 43, second down and 8 for the Clippers.
Jason LaSalette now in on the end for the start of John McMaster. Both are seniors. So both coaches send their plays in with the ends. Portsmouth comes out to the line of scrimmage, which is about their 42. Receivers flanked on both sides. It is a reverse. Shane Croto on the carry. He reverses it across the 45 out near midfield, and I think he's into Concord High territory.
He is over to the plus side of the field, and we'll see. Some of the downs markers are moving. Yes, indeed. Another first down for the Clippers as Croto was hit head-on there, too, by one of the Concord defenders. He gets it up over the 50-yard line down to the 48, and that's a pickup of 10 yards on the play.
And no question about it, down a little bit from the talent they had last year, but the strength of their team is in that backfield, and you can see that. It is evident. Croto in motion now, going from his left to right. It is a lake. Croto gets it now, cuts off right tackle, turns the right side, across the 45, down to the 40, down to the 35, slashes out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. Sean Croto off to a big start here. He's a 5'7" senior, the most experienced back here for the Clippers. And again, great breakaway speed. He had 14 touchdowns for the Clippers a year ago.
And he may figure prominently in the stat sheet here tonight as well. He is a fast little back in there. He cut back across the grain. It's not all to one side. They're going both sides up the field down to the 34-yard line now. And Croto on back-to-back plays has picked up 19 and 14 yards.
This is a pretty offense, boy, when it is going right. Again, a counter, a delay. Gens on the carry for Portsmouth. He's across the 30, down near the 27-yard line. And again, another huge hole off that left side this time. And Portsmouth having very little trouble advancing the football in its first series against the Crimson Tide right now.
Yeah, pick up down to the 28-yard line, and they are in good shape. A 6-yard gain on the play. It brings up a second.
All right, the end, McMaster flanked 20 yards out on the left side. In the slot is Gens on the right side. Croto gets the call. He comes right up the middle. He splashes across the 25, down near the 23-yard line, and he's close to a first down. Let's see where they spot the football. It is another Clipper first down, and Portsmouth on the march early here.
Boy, that is their fourth first down of the first drive for the Clippers. Fourth first down of the game as well. 6.5 minutes left here in the first quarter. And they are down to the 23-yard line. First and 10. Pick up a 5 on the play. Needed 4. They picked up 5.
All right. They have wideouts on both sides. One lone back in motion now comes Gens. And the reverse goes to Croto. He's got some running room. He's across the 20, the 15, slashes at the 10, cuts at the 5. He's into the end zone. Sean Croto. He has a 23-yard to give Portsmouth the lead. 6-0 here with 6:08 to play in period number 1. What a beautiful inside reverse pulled off by the Clippers, culminating with Sean Croto going those 23 yards for the Clippers.
Well, I had said that he would figure prominently on the stat sheet, and there it is right there, a 23-yard touchdown run for Croto with a point after touchdown coming.
And the extra point try by the Clippers, it has the distance and is good, and Portsmouth takes a setting lead with a 6:08 to play, period number 1. We'll be right back. Stay with us here on the radio tonight.
Okay, so the leaves are turning and falling. The temperatures are dropping, and the area skiers are beginning to get itchy. If you folks would like to see what's new this year in the way of alpine and cross-country skis, equipment, and ski clothing, well, the ski pros at S&W Sport Shop are getting all set up to show off their brand new selections of 1991 ski products. S&W has skis by Fisher, Head, Rossignol, and Tyrolia. Bindings by Tyrolia, Marker, and Look. You'll find ski boots by Rakeley and Rossignol, along with ski clothing to fit and outfit the entire family from head to toe. Don't forget to get all the details on the Alpine Boot Rental Program. Now's a very good time to bring in your skis. Get them all tuned up so they'll be ready when that first snow falls. For complete alpine and cross-country ski packages, plus ski accessories and personal ski clothing, along with Alpine's program, your one-stop headquarters is the S&W Sport Shop at 230 South Main Street in Concord, where their professionally trained staff will always properly outfit your family for the upcoming 91-92 alpine and cross-country ski season.
All right, Shane Stafford on the run back from about his 7-yard line out over the 25 as we were away for a commercial, and Concord gets the football back for the second time tonight at about their 28-yard line.
Scoring drive for Portsmouth, 80 yards, 8 plays, 3:57 it took for them to travel those 80 yards. Sean Croto, a 23-yard touchdown run. The point after touchdown kick was good, and it is 7-0 Portsmouth on top here with just under 6 minutes to go in the first quarter of play. And Concord 1st and 10 at their own 28-yard line.
All right, backs are split now behind McGonigal. First man through is Mayo. Right at the line of scrimmage, the fullback is met full interior wall of Clippers, and he's pushed back into the Concord high backfield. And once again, Tom Dobney has come up with a game plan that has given the T trouble early here in Portsmouth. 7-0 the Clippers if you're just joining us.
Sure has. About a half a yard gain on the play. We're still going to call it a 2nd down and 10, but they are just over their own 28-yard line, almost to the 29.
Ryan McGonigal, senior or junior quarterback. Mike Mayo, the senior fullback. Andy Milligan and Matt Ekstrom, senior wingers in that backfield. Straight T formation, everybody balanced. It is a pitch. Shane Stafford gets the call. He tries to turn the corner, cuts back up inside, and Portsmouth really had him corralled in there, and he did well not to lose yardage and to make a little bit of a gain out of that.
Better late than never. Perhaps you can hear the drums in the background. That's the Concord High School band arriving, courtesy of some parents and some volunteer bus drivers who got them over here. A little bit late, but better late than never.
Well, that's 2 busloads of kids, and they're marching in with the banners over there and the Crimson Tide uniforms, and maybe that'll give the football team a little bit of a lift out here.
Perhaps. 3rd and 8 from their own 30-yard line. Portsmouth band here as well, depleted over years past.
Ryan McGonigal 0 for 1 in passing tonight. He's fading back at about the 20 in the air, and it is knocked down, almost intercepted, but Sean Croto, the defensive back, came up and knocked the pass down out of the hands of Rob Sawyer, the intended receiver for the Crimson Tide. And isn't this Sean Croto an interesting little two-way player here for the Clippers?
I'll tell you what, he sure is. 4th and 8 from their own 30-yard line. You know, a week ago against Exeter, we were talking about Ryan being a little gun-shy after all the interceptions that he suffered at the hands of the Pinkerton Astros. Tonight, he's come out throwing. He's thrown two passes. Both of them have been knocked down, but at least he's, putting the ball in the air.
Back to punt again for the 2nd time tonight. Steps up to about the 22-yard line. Almost blocked, but Ryan gets it away. Coming down to Croto at the 35, up to the 40, up to the 45, across the 50. A flag is down. He's at the 45 and out of bounds, and a flag is down back near midfield. And I would suspect that clipping is there on the Clippers.
I do believe that is the case.
Just a hunch. I didn't see the violation, but the flag came down in an area where clipping is generally called.
Exactly. It was on the run back. Croto had a good wall of
didn't he?
Of blockers ahead of him up the left-hand side, the near sideline. But Concord sniffed it out, and that is indeed what the call is going to be. It's going to be on the Clippers. We haven't seen the indication yet whether it is clipping or not. But would seem logical from this point on the field. And Ryan White had to tell us now, indeed, a clip. And that's going to push Portsmouth way back all 25. The way to the 25-yard line.
Well, that's about a 40-yard penalty for them because it moves the football back 40 yards from where Croto was tackled. So that was a huge penalty.
Just to give you an idea of the domination so far by the Clippers, Harvey, Concord has only been allowed to run 8 plays. And meanwhile, Portsmouth has 9 and 7 points on the board.
Concord doesn't have a first down yet today, does it?
They do not have a first down. This will be the 9th play coming up.
3 and out for Concord. So of the 8 plays they've run, 2 have been punts, so they've really only had 6 snaps offensively.
Exactly.
And it is 7-0 Portsmouth. If you just joined us, Harvey Smith along with Bruce Lavoie tonight over, and the Concord High Crimson Tide up against a tiger by the tail here. Did you expect anything else out of these Clippers tonight?
We said that before.
All right, Croto has the ball, rounds the corner. He's got some running room. The one man to beat. He's got a lot of turf in front of him. He crosses the 50, the 40, the 30. Is he fast? No one's going to catch him. Bye-bye, Sean Croto. It's another touchdown. 75 yards. 75-yard touchdown run for Sean Croto. His second tonight and his third in 2 years against the Crimson Tide. And that one was a quick one right up over right tackle. And once he crossed the line of scrimmage, it was all over. I mean, just real estate and no white-shirted Crimson Tide kids.
Boy, I'll tell you, he is fast.
Nate Piper will try to get his second extra point here. Nate Piper, soccer-style kicker from the soccer team, puts his soccer foot into the ball. Good as he booms it well over the goalpost. And Portsmouth has a 14-0 lead here in the first period. 3:46 to play. We'll be right back. Don't give up on the Tide yet. It's not over.
The area's family footwear center, Denroy Shoes at 76 North Main Street in downtown Concord, invites you to the locker room. It's the new locker room at Denroy Shoes, and it's chock full of great Nike footwear and Nike clothing. The locker room at Denroy Shoes has Nikes for men, for women, and for children. The locker room at Denroy Shoes has Nike gym and book bags, Nike hats, Nike t-shirts, Nike sweats, and cool, comfortable Nike nylon jackets and pants. You'll love the selection, and you'll find the values outstanding. Of course, for athletic footwear, the locker at Denroy Shoes just can't be beat for selection. Men and women can choose a Nike shoe for every athletic activity, from walking to cross-training, from tennis to basketball, from cleated to running, from force to the Nike Ear. So when it comes to athletic footwear, you look to Nike. And when it comes to Nike, look to the locker room at Denroy Shoes, 76 North Main Street, in the heart of downtown Concord.
Shane Stafford on the 10-yard line, up to the 15, the 20, the 25, and Portsmouth right there. Won't let him go any further. And now the Crimson Tide get another shot here. Their third offensive series here in the first period, but they're down 14-0.
Boy, I'll tell you, they have dug themselves a hole earlier. Sean Croto actually is handling the shovel tonight. 23 yards and a 75-yard touchdown runs for the youngster. And boy, I'll tell you, for a little scat back, he is fast.
That guy has one of those bulldozer-type shovels out there. I mean,
yeah.
He's digging huge holes. Key formation for the Tide. Portsmouth jumping around on defense, bothering Concord High. Straight give, halfback, right side, 2 or 3 yards at best, as everybody rolls ahead about 3 yards in a mass of humanity. Carry was by Milligan out there.
The only stat on the Concord side so far is 2 incomplete passes by Ryan McGonigal. They don't even have a first down in the ball game yet, with 3 minutes left here in the first quarter. They are out to their 33-yard line now. That's a pickup of on the play, 2nd and 4.
Scoreboard says 5, but I agree with you. It's more like 4 yards they have to get here.
Well,
Key
scoreboard's
formation.
Portsmouth.
Straight formation. McGonigal takes the snap. He pitches. And Stafford turns the corner, and Concord High has its first down as he runs out of bounds at about the 47-yard line. Not quite over that midfield stripe, and in the Clipper, a nice play. Quick hitting play. Stafford a pitch and just turned the left corner for a first down.
Now, we marveled last week about the speed of Stafford. I'm not sure it could keep up with Croto, but it'd be interesting tonight to see those two youngsters have big games. Croto's already had a big game.
Now we got Milligan at fullback and Mayo at halfback here. A little switch by Mr. Gaddy tonight. And McGonigal keeps the ball. Quarterback sneak, and he bulls ahead for 5 or 6 yards. Quick play. Ryan, who's carried 29 times this year, gets his 30th carry and makes it a good one.
He sure does. He's out to the 47-yard line to pick up a 5 yards on the play. Brings up a 2nd down and 5. A little bit easier to work with that than it is with the 2nd and 8 or...
Yeah, you're right. Now, the last 2 first down plays have been good ones.
Yes.
And let's see if they can capitalize now here. They put Milligan in the slot, right side, back split, behind a row. Forrestal, the center, the snap, the give to Stafford, and he's going to be tackled in the backfield. And Portsmouth knew that play before Concord did. They were out there waiting for Stafford, and they throw him for a loss.
Basically, he got hit by 3 different Clippers who just blew through there and knew exactly where he was going and what he was going to try to do when he got there, and he was not allowed to at all. The ball is back to the 43-yard line, a loss of 4 on the play, brings up a 3rd down and 9.
Other games in Class L tonight, Spalding at Winnicott looking for their fourth victory. Memorial and Trinity, two teams at 3-1 clashing in the game in Queen City. Central at Nashua tonight. 3rd and 8, backs are split. McGonigal fakes once, fakes twice, fades back around his 40, fakes the pass, he's going to keep the ball. He tries to turn the corner, he's thrown for a loss, and there are 2 flags down.
That's right.
Well before McGonigal was tackled, and it has to be a hold, a clip, or some kind of interference. My guess is it's going to go against the Tide here.
2 weeks ago, we heard the Pinkerton coach say that with the Concord offense, the only way that they would get caught for holding is on these big wide plays, and that was a big wide play. We saw it happen on Portsmouth.
Yep.
Never mind. We'll get to that time down the road.
Never try to guess what the officials are going to call.
Oh, exactly.
We've learned our lesson.
Exactly.
Stay
Boy,
with
that
us
was
on
all
the radio
set up.
tonight, folks. With 1:21 to play here in period number 1, Concord's going to get a first down via the penalty route. And that is their second first down of the game. They trail at 14-0 if you just joined us. And it's been the Sean Croto show as he has 2 touchdown runs here, one of 23 yards and one of 75 yards, both from the line of scrimmage. And he's a good-looking one, and Concord's going to have to contain him. All right, the Crimson Tide in Portsmouth territory for the first time. They put Ekstrom in the slot on the right side. Backs are split. Behind is the quarterback. The snap, the pitch. Mayo, the fullback, and he gets swarmed under in the backfield. Again, they try to advance around that right side, and 3 Portsmouth Clippers are across that line of scrimmage, and they're waiting for Mayo, and they just wrapped him up early.
Exactly. The same thing happened to Stafford 2 plays ago, and Dell got up and kind of shrugged his shoulders. You know, what am I supposed to do, you know?
Tom Dobney, Bruce, in our pregame interview, I asked him why he was so successful against the T, and he said he's always had the kids to be able to stop it, but he's the guy. He engineers it.
Sure.
That defense is so solid down there. Here we go with a 2nd and 11 for the Crimson Tide, back at the 48. McGonigal's going to keep. He runs off the left tackle this time, and he gets big yardage again, 6 or 7 yards, and that's a new play that Coach Caddy has gone to just in this series as he sees Portsmouth stacked up off the tackle holes, and he's letting Ryan just take the ball and go up inside, and it's working.
Pickup of 8 yards on the play, still going to be short, but it's down to the 40-yard line now. Brings up a 3rd down and 3 for the Tide.
And that is going to end the first period here. Portsmouth takes a 14-0 lead into the second period, but the Tide is on the move for the first time. Come back and join us all right after this.
Friends, they're always there, ready to share your ups and downs to help lighten life's loads to talk with and trust. At Horizon Bank, we're your friends, and we care about you. That's why each time you stop in, you'll get a warm smile, friendly greeting, and prompt personal service, because that's what a friend deserves. Whatever your financial needs, see us at Horizon Bank today. While we can't take the place of your best friend, we're behind you all the way with the load. Together, we're strong. Horizon Bank and Trust, 197 Loudon Road, Concord, member FDIC.
Well, Concord putting together a little bit of a drive here as the first quarter comes to an end. They've kept the ball for 3 minutes and 41 seconds and had it now for a total of 7 plays. This is the 8th play coming up, but this is a big one, a 3rd down and 3 at the Portsmouth 40-yard line. 14-0, the Clippers on top. 2 long touchdown runs by the little back Sean Croto out of the Portsmouth backfield, 23-yard touchdown run, and a 75-yard touchdown run. And I'll tell you, folks, once he broke into the clear, he just ran away from everybody. There's nobody on Concord who can catch him, I don't think.
All right, in the slot, Milligan on the left side this time. Long count by the quarterback. The pitch to Mayo. He turns the corner. He turns up inside. He's going to be close. He crossed the 40 and then dove ahead. And depending on where they spot that football down there, it's going to be really close.
If they put it,
it is a first down for the Crimson Tide, and they keep this drive alive.
Down to the 36-yard line. He needed 3. He picked up 3.5, maybe 4.
In Jack Gaddy's second year at Concord High, 5 years ago, Portsmouth came to Concord, and Concord dominated for 3 periods, leading 20-0. And Portsmouth came back and won the game 21-20. Maybe Concord would like to return that favor tonight. All right, the pitch to the fullback, Stafford. He turns the corner left side, goes up ahead 3 or 4 yards, and Concord now starting to get 3 and 4 or 5 yards at a clip there on offense.
Not a bad little pickup by Stafford there as he ran wide to the left. The Portsmouth defense right there to tackle him, but not until he gets down to the 31-yard line, actually. A pickup of about 4.5 or 5 yards. We'll call it a second and it's a short 5. 4.5.
It is a short 5, and see what Concord High can do here. 2nd down and 5. the blocker. They give it to Mail. He goes right up the middle, and he turns ahead, and you can see him take 5 or 6 Portsmouth kids, and that's no exaggeration.
And this again is going
to
to be
see it, and it's going to
real
be close. Just a great run by Mail up inside, and instead of trying to go off tackle and around the ends, the Jack Addy is go up inside and bring those Portsmouth Clipper linebackers closer to the middle.
Okay. A little bit of an unkind spot of the ball there.
All right, 3rd and 1 for the Crimson Tide. They are in 4-down territory. They're at the 27-yard line of the Clippers. That's the deepest penetration by the Tide tonight. They give us to Milligan. He goes across the 25, and that should be enough for another first down for the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, Andy gets it up across the, to the 25.
Well, the football is on the inside of that 25, so we'll call it over there.
There you go.
They've got to get inside the 15 for another first down. How's that?
All right, sounds good to me. 4th first down of the game, 3rd via the rush, and 1 on that big holding call against the Clippers there at the end of the first quarter.
John Forrestall, the center, showing no effects of last week's sprained ankle. He is sprinting out to his position every time. Snaps it to McGonigal. McGonigal, quarterback keep this time. Goes off tackle, and he got bruised and bumped. Got a couple of yards, though, the lumbering junior quarterback.
Nice little drive.
Go ahead.
Nice little drive they're putting together here, Harvey. The ball down now to the 22-yard line and pick up a 3 yards on the play. Brings up a 2nd and 7.
Second down.
The nose guy for Portsmouth is 5'5" junior Peter Gordon, and he plays full defense. That's an interesting two-way assignment for that youngster to run the ball from his fullback position, then get in there at nose guard on defense.
This is the 13th play of this drive, Harvey.
The Crimson Tide on the march. Give the ball straight ahead to Stafford. He crosses the line of scrimmage, goes across the 20, and down near the 17-yard line. Now remember, they've got to get just inside the 15 for a first down here, so it brings up another big 3rd down play for the Crimson Tide.
They'll pick up a 5 yards on the play. It's a 3rd down and 2.
Concord in their white road uniforms tonight with crimson stripes and crimson numerals. Portsmouth in their maroon shirts and gold pants and gold helmets. 3rd and 2 for the Crimson Tide. Deep in Portsmouth territory. Straight T formation, good balance. McGonigal on the keeper, left side, goes right off left guard, slants a little bit, gets across the 15, and now this is where those guys in striped shirts are going to place that football down.
Yeah, I'd be real surprised. It looks like they're going to put it right on the 15-yard line.
That's not going to be a first down.
Nope.
It's going to bring up a 4th and inches. 4th down and inches, and here comes perhaps the biggest play for the Crimson tonight. Why, you ask? Well, with 8:18 to play in the second period, they trail 14-0. 2 electrifying long runs by Sean Cotto of the Clippers in the first period, the difference out here tonight. So here we go, 4th down, T formation from the 15-yard line. They've got to get over that 15 to keep the drive alive. They give it to Ekstrom, and he dives across, and Ryan McGonigal says to the official, that's a first. Give us the call, and they do. First down, Concord. How many in this drive?
That is the 5th in this drive, Harvey.
And the yards get tougher and tougher, but Concord High, with 5 first downs, keep the drive alive. Portsmouth High put together a terrific drive of 80 yards, 8 plays, 4 first downs, and yet they capitalized with a 23-yard touchdown on to top it off.
That's right, and the next drive lasted 1 play, 75 yards, Ryan.
All right, here go the Crimson Tide. Slot right, the pitch, somebody moved, and as Shane Stafford to the right side, where there were Clippers waiting for him, they're going to call a penalty down here, and it looks like it's against Concord. They're talking to the Portsmouth captain.
That's right, or are they? They are marking it off against Portsmouth.
They're saying, Captain, we want you to back your teammates up 5 yards so we can place the ball down on the 10-yard line. 1st and 5 now.
Yep.
How do you like that, folks? They got to get to
the 10.
Yep, they've got to get to the 5 now for a first down.
And that's the second penalty on Portsmouth in this drive, which has kept it alive. Now up to 15, 16 plays.
That's 5.
Sure is. It's up there. All right, key formation. Rob Sawyer in tight on that right side. He's a 6'5" senior. They go off Rob right there. McGonigal keeps right side, dances up across the 10, down around the 5, and he's down near that goal line. And a nice end around by Ryan McGonigal. Good Shane Stafford going off tackle, and then Ryan kept it, and he got the Crimson Tide a first down. It's going to be 1st And goal to goal from around the 2-yard line. I can't see the goal line from here, can you?
No.
It's really faint. The 5-yard line is very clear.
The scoreboard says the 1-yard line. They're up a little higher and maybe has a little bit better view. It's first and goal from the 1.
All right, let's see what they do. Who's going to get the call? McGonigal at quarterback takes the snap. Straight again. End zone touchdown, Concord, Dick. Here come the Crimson Tide. They got there first, and they had to work for it. A long, sustained drive that we've come to really appreciate out of these Concord High kids under Jack Addy, and they made one of those long drives pay off right here. Wow. 5 or 6 first downs. 6 first downs on that drive.
6 first downs is correct.
All right, Mayo into hold now for McGonigal. Garen Stum, who's 9 of 11 this year in 1991, gets his foot into the ball. It's up. Oh, it's a boomer. And Concord has half of it back. Portsmouth 14, Concord 7. We have a ball game, folks. Stay with us.
You know, high school sports are a source of great interest and pride, not only for the schools involved, but the communities they represent. High school sports help bring a community together, providing a focus to care about and to cheer for. Now, because of this important role in the lives of our communities, high school sports are about a lot more than winning and losing. They're about working together and growing together. And that's why high school sports are such a tradition in the Capital Region. And the Capital City law firm of Rath, Young, Pignatelli, and Oyer, on behalf of its clients and friends, is pleased to be a part of this tradition by helping to bring these broadcasts to our community. And even more pleased to be part of a community that cares so much for its young people.
It is a reverse to Croto on the kickoff from Gels. He turns around the 20 up to the 25, still alive at the 30, and then he's pushed back. And Gels and Croto with the lurse there almost fooled Concord, but Stum got a great kickoff.
You know, we're almost halfway through the second quarter, Harvey, and this is the first time Portsmouth had their hands on the ball.
That's because Concord kept the drive for 8 minutes and 51 seconds. That's going to be the longest of the year.
73 yards, 16 plays, and it was Andy Milligan, a 1-yard touchdown dive on a first and goal. 6 first downs along the way.
Well, now Concord's defense has got to come out here and play some football. Portsmouth has yet to be stopped tonight, and there they are. The first time Concord has stopped them for maybe a little bit of a loss.
Yeah, I think Concord should really be fired up after that long drive. It's just exactly what the coach is looking for every time they handle the football, is these long, sustained drives. They're going to give them 1 yard on the play out to the 29. Brings up a second down and 9 from their own 29 for the Portsmouth Clippers. 14-7 with Portsmouth on top.
Andy Milligan with his 5th touchdown of the year here in 91 for the Crimson Tide, but it was a lot of hard work by all the kids to keep the ball that long. Back to pass is the quarterback. He has it in the air, and it's on the ground. It falls short. Good setup by the Portsmouth kids, but a great pass rush by Concord High forced the quarterback to throw it probably sooner than he wanted to. So a great credit for pass rushing for the Crimson Tide, and he really made Jason Lodge, the quarterback, throw it sooner than he wanted to.
He really did, and Lodge is 0 for 1 in passing now. That was the first pass attempt of the game for the Clippers.
Second down, third down for the Clippers, and 9. 3rd and 9, so this is their first third down situation for the Clippers. They have a wide out on the right side, a man in motion coming in. That's Croto. Who else? He tries to turn the corner, and not letting him is Milligan. Holds him up long enough to let the rest of the kids come in and get him. And making a big hit is Dave Blossage. You got to give Andy Milligan credit. He had the ball carrier Croto by the shirt, and then Dave Blossage came up and said, "Okay, Andy, I'll take care of him now," and pushed him back. Big loss on the play, and Portsmouth's going to have to punt for the first time here tonight on the coast.
Actually, after the forward progress, I guess, he's back only 13 to the 26-yard line.
Oh, it was a little bit of a loss.
Yeah.
So it is Keith Moody back to punt for the Clippers. Gets a good snap. Sawyer on the pursuit, but he gets the ball away plenty of time. Fair catch for out there. No, it's not a fair catch. Milligan, I thought he was waving his arms for a fair catch, and he fields the ball in traffic at about the 3-yard line. Concord's 43, and give Andy hanging on right there.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he handled that ball in a kind of strange fashion with kind of his butt sticking out behind him and just kind of grabbed it with the fingertips rather than moving up under it. It was like it was going to be a fair catch, and yet it isn't. So Concord defense did exactly what they wanted to do right there, 3 and out. They had the ball 1st and 10 at their own 45-yard line with 4:38 left here in the first half.
All right, double back formation. Milligan spot the snap to give to the fullback up the middle, and it goes for about a yard as everybody piles on him just past the line of scrimmage.
What a great night for football, Harvey. We have been so lucky in the 4 years you and I have been doing football together that we have not had these torrential, horrible rainstorms, especially on a night like this where we are outside the press box. We have a timeout on the field, and we will be back with more from Portsmouth after the 60-second timeout.
And the staff of Young East Florist at 30 Manchester Street in Concord would like to take this opportunity to wish respective 1991 football seasons. You know, high school sports play a very important role in any successful community. And through the dedicated hard work put in by the staff and members, the Crimson Tide and Green Giant players learned to work together as a team, each member completing their assignment in order to accomplish a common team goal. Now, the teamwork learned by this year's group of young men on the rosters of Bishop Brady and Concord High will become a lifelong lesson on how to accomplish a common goal through athletics, knowing that how you play the game will become examples of how you go through life long after one has covered the 100 yards on the football field. This message from your florist in Concord, Young East Florist at 3rd Street. And again, good luck to both Concord High and Bishop Brady.
4:19 left here in the first half of play, and it's the Portsmouth High Clippers on top, 14-7 over Concord High. Concord has the ball at their own 49-yard line with a 2nd and 6 play coming, Harvey.
And too much time, or somebody has stepped across that line of scrimmage offsides.
If I had to put a bet right down now, I'd say the number 39 for Portsmouth lined up offside. I think that's what the call is.
Of course, in high school ball, they don't give the youngsters number. They tried that once. Channel 12, I think, talked the officials into wiring a mic. It was kind of neat to hear the call coming from the man on the field. But you are right. Encroachment by one of the Portsmouth Clippers, and Concord has a 2nd down and 1. Concord would love to get that equalizer before halftime here. Milligan in the slot, right side. The snap, they give to Ekstrom, and he goes off right tackle. He's got some yards. He's finally stopped at about the 40.
It is another first down for the Tide, though, and they are starting to roll up some statistics here. That is their 7th of the first down, all coming in the last 2 drives. First down, first half is what I meant to say. Ball down to the 39-yard line.
For the Crimson Tide from that 39-yard line. They trail it 14-7 here. Stay with us on 1450 radio. Tide trying to make a great comeback. Stafford, left side. He's got some room. He's across the 40, down inside the 30, down to the 20. One man to beat. He cuts across the 5. End zone touchdown. Shane Stafford. And Concord is all the way back to within 1. And what blinding speed. I didn't know Shane could run that fast.
Well, I'll tell you what, that answers the question as to whether he could keep up with Sean Croto. He certainly can. Boy, did he motor down that side. And we used that term a couple of times last week, but he really did. 39-yard touchdown run by Crawford.
Shane Stafford. And
Shane
you know,
Stafford.
Bruce, give Jack Gaddy a lot of credit because they couldn't turn those corners early. So he started running the quarterback up inside, and what did it do? It drew the linebacker with it, and he opened up the outside. Mayo on the hold. Stum on the kick. It's up, and we are here on the coast. 14-14. How about that? With 3:47 to play in the half, the Crimson Tide have erased a 14-point deficit. We'll be right back.
Here's an offer that you can hardly refuse. It's an offer to have your home, auto, or business insurance reviewed by the friendly professionals at the Allied Insurance Agency. How much will this complete insurance review cost you? 1 red cent. That's right, the agency will provide a professional analysis of your present insurance at absolutely no obligation. Incidentally, when was the last time you checked your insurance coverage on your home, automobiles, or business? Conditions change, you know. The number of drivers in the family may have changed. Your insurance coverage written last year is not necessarily the best insurance today. Allied represents many solid New Hampshire insurance companies, and the Allied Agency will review your insurance coverage free of charge. Give them a call today at 224-5394. That's 224-5394. Or stop into their office at 500 South Street on the Bowtown line. Find out for yourself why at the Allied Insurance Agency, your protection is their profession.
Our commercial took us away from the kickoff, and Concord, the special teams, what great pursuit, and they have stopped Portsmouth the 22-yard line, and they really, Concord kids are fired up right now.
Boy, they should be, too. I mean, they could have packed the tents and gone home early here in the first half as they fell behind 14-0 in the first quarter. Nearing halftime, 14-14 game, folks.
Grotto inside reverse, and he gets 4 or 5 yards, and then he gets piled into kind of a late hit out there, but it's not going to be called. And Grotto gets some pretty good yardage against a defense that has come alive here for Concord High. You know, Jack Addy, those kids, Mayo and Stafford and Milligan, Ekstrom, they couldn't turn that corner and run that end around or that off tackle play, so down 14 points, he started taking his big quarterback and running him up inside and running the fullback up inside, and he kept doing that and kept doing that, and then lo and behold, it opened up the off tackle and the end around, and we've seen three big runs here for the touchdown.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 2nd and 4 from the 28 for the Clippers. Concord is playing much better than they did right off the bat, and it's because of opening up the middle.
All right. Inside reverse, and the fullback comes right up the middle, Peter Gordon, and he's close to a first down. I think if they leave the ball there, the Clippers will have a first down, and they do, and I believe that's their first in a long time here.
It sure is. Their 5th of the ball game, though, Harvey, is they rolled up all of their statistics early on. In fact, in that first drive, the 80-yard drive in the 8 plays, that's where they got their initial 4 first downs. This is the first one they've had since their first possession of the game.
For Shane Stafford, it's his 2nd touchdown of the year, and don't forget Garrett Stum. He's now 11 of 13 here in 91. Inside reverse, Grotto gets the call. He's right up the middle, and he gets a couple of yards. It'll pick up about a 2nd and 7 for Portsmouth.
And don't forget Garrett's 27-yard field goal of a week ago.
2 for 2 in field goals this year. 1 of 24 yards and 1 of 27.
18 points on the year. Not bad.
No, he's been a very valuable performer for the Crimson Tide.
And he was out here kicking field goals in 35 to 45-yard range here in the pregame warm-ups, too, Harvey. I was watching.
2nd down for the Clippers, and 6 yards after the spot of the ball. Back to pass is the quarterback. He has it in the air, and it's knocked down on a terrific defensive play by Matty Ekstrom. Tremendous athletic play as Ekstrom had to use all of his 5'10" frame, and he had to leap high in the air because the receiver had him beat. Ekstrom just took a spring step off the turf, and he was way up in the air to knock it down.
Ekstrom took a little bit of a gamble there, too, Harvey, to knock it down, indeed, because the receiver was a couple of yards beyond him, and had Ekstrom not hit that ball, he would have been off to the races.
Absolutely.
3rd and 6 from their own 37-yard line.
We're told that Jason Lodge is quite a passer. I was also told he was 6'5". There's no way he is a 6'5" youngster. I'm telling you right now, folks. Grotto on the carry. He gets about 3 yards, and then he is stopped. It's going to bring up a 4th down play. One. Got to go for it. Jack Addy's going to preserve the time and take a timeout. We'll keep it right here because Tom Dobney has a major coaching decision to make. We told you that there are other teams enjoying the fine weather around the state tonight. Spalding 3-1 at Winnicunnet over here on the coast. Memorial and Trinity, both 3-1 down at Gill Stadium. Still hasn't beaten Trinity in 17, and they feel tonight is the night. Central is at Nashua. Tomorrow in Class L, Londonderry at Pinkerton in their annual Mac Plaque traditional game down there. 6,000 fans are expected. Salem at Merrimack. Merrimack 4-0, hanging right in there with Pinkerton. They clash in 2 weeks. Dover 4-0 at Exeter tomorrow. Girton at Milford and Keene at West.
The Dover coaching staff, who you had the opportunity to chit-chat with last Friday night over at Memorial Field in Concord, is here tonight, Harvey, taking a look at 2 pretty good football teams right here in Portsmouth and Concord. It's all dead even at 14 apiece. Bishop Brady, by the way, tomorrow afternoon will be on the road over this way as well. They'll be at Dover Point.
That's
take on St. Thomas.
That's a big game.
Oh, is it ever? Every game is big for them the rest of the way.
Okay, a punt by Portsmouth. Moody gets his foot into the ball. It's going to take a roll. It hits a Concord player, and Portsmouth falls on it. Concord was trying to back away from the football, and it hit a Concord player in the seat of the pants. He had his back turned to the football, and Portsmouth fell on it. And they have the ball at the 30-yard line with 1 minute and 21 seconds to play in the half. And now the referees are conferring out there over that football.
Basically a pickup of 29 yards on the play. And no, they're going to give it to Concord.
And now Portsmouth's upset.
Oh.
And the players are saying why.
I think they have a case.
The ball hit
I know the fans
Concord
agree.
player. We're sitting in the Portsmouth crowd tonight.
Well, I think they have a case on that one, frankly.
And they've been very kind to
They
us,
have.
I must say. Clipper fans are great sports fans. They have been through the years over here. So Concord retains possession, and the Clipper kids are upset. Tom Dobney's upset on that sideline, but they don't have instant replay in high school football. I'm thankful for it. So Concord keeps possession. Fullback trap right up the middle. Mayo has the football, and he gets about 5 yards. And Concord would just like to run out this clock here. That was a dangerous situation, given the way Jason Lodge can throw that football at quarterback for the Clippers.
Sure was. They're going to call it pickup of about 6 yards on the play. Second down and 4. The ball out to the 36-yard line.
I don't think Coach Gaddy will fool around with trying to get a quick fix right here. They've spent too much time trying to come back in this one. 14 all, straight running play. Milligan, the halfback, into the middle of the line. Fumble on the play. And is there a late whistle?
This time,
Portsmouth does have it.
Yeah.
And they have 27 seconds on the clock to work with here. And Jason Lodge, 6'1", senior quarterback, can throw the football. Coach Gaddy told me this week that he's one of the better passers in the state. He hasn't connected here tonight. He has 3 or 4 attempts. So let's see what the Clippers are going to do. They have a great speedster in Croto, the halfback. Will they send him out of the backfield? He's out on the line of scrimmage right now. And there goes Lodge, back to pass. He lodges one in the air, and it's complete downfield to Moody at the 30, down inside the 30-yard line. Out by the Clippers, 6 seconds left. Portsmouth with one more snap of the football at least here. Take a timeout. We'll keep it right here, Dale, and then we'll give you plenty of time to get him in at halftime.
Another first down for the Clippers as well.
We have a Portsmouth, I don't know if he's on the coaching staff or not. He's back here by the press box. He says, look for a field goal here.
Yeah, right.
Where's the wind? Where's the flag? Which way is the wind blowing?
It would be a, let's see, that would be about a 45-yard field goal.
They do have a good kicker.
They do.
He's a soccer-style kicker. We've seen him with 2 extra points, Piper. And let's see if they set up.
Okay, the ball is sitting right on the 30-yard line.
It would be a 50-yard attempt there.
Yeah.
At least given 10 yards back, and the 10 yards. No, I don't think so.
Oh, well, Beckley up in Plymouth try one from this distance, but of course
He's made it
at
from
that
this
time Plymouth was ahead by about 50 points over Littleton a couple of years ago.
Well, let's see what the Clippers are going to do. We have 14-14 on the board for each team. 6 seconds left. They are lining up for a field goal. It is from the 37-yard line. It's a 47-yard attempt. Piper is going to foot into the ball. It's up into the air, and it's off to the left as the clock ticks down. 1 second left. Will they give Concord a snap of the football, or will they call it a half? 1 snap left for the Crimson Tide. He's got a good leg, and he had some pretty good strength into that boot, but immediately went wide to the left, right from the trajectory, right from the ground up.
That's right. It did not have much of a shot to make it at all. 1 tick left on the clock, and Concord will take over on downs at their own 20-yard line.
Hey, I commend Coach Dobney. You never know.
Hey, you never know.
Big home crowd, the adrenaline flowing, so Concord will get a snap of the ball. I imagine they'll be content to just run this thing out and go into the locker room tied at the half. They give it to the fullback. He stumbles over the line of scrimmage, and that's going to do it. And after trailing the first period of play 14-0, Concord comes back with 2 second-period touchdowns to tie it up, and we are at 14-14. A heck of a game on the coast. And if you left us early because Concord was trailing by 14, shame on you, because it was a whale of a second period. Bruce will tell you about it as we put our halftime show together for you. We'll be right back here after this 2-minute timeout. Stay with us.
At Horizon Bank, we're your friends and neighbors, and serving you is our #1 priority. That's why we'll never leave you hanging when it comes to your financial needs. Each time you call or visit Horizon Bank, you'll get a friendly greeting and prompt courteous service, because we believe friends should never be kept out in the cold waiting too long. Whether you want to discuss checking services, savings plans, taking out a loan, or whatever, come on in. Our lines of communication are always open, always warm. Together, we're strong. Horizon Bank and Trust, 197 Loudon Road, Concord, member FDIC. With the basketball season coming, it's time for teams to be ordering uniforms and supplies. The best way to do that is by calling Jim Burney at Burney Sports in Concord. At Burney Sports, you'll select from the latest in uniforms, sports clothing, and equipment, and they specialize in team jackets with a great choice of sizes, colors, and styles. Best of all, you won't have to travel all over the state because Jim Burney will come to your home or office. If you're outfitting a basketball team this winter, call Burney Sports now at 224-2131, 224-2131.
Back here in Portsmouth, Bruce LeBoy along with Harvey Smith. It's the intermission halftime here at a 14-14 tie. What a contrast these two teams have put forth here on the field. Portsmouth took the opening kickoff. Actually, Concord took the opening kickoff, was held to 4 plays by the Clippers. 3 and out, and lo and behold, Portsmouth takes over on the punt at their own 20-yard line. They march 80 yards in 8 plays, 3 minutes and 57 seconds, and a 23-yard touchdown run by Sean Croto. Nate Piper, the point after touchdown, and Portsmouth had a 7-0 lead over the Concord High Crimson. Concord would not have any success the next time they handle the ball either. 3 and out again. Portsmouth would take the ball back on their own 25-yard line, I beg your pardon. And in just one play, again, it's Sean Croto, a 75-yard touchdown run. Point after touchdown by Nat Piper again. And lo and behold, 14-0, and Portsmouth is on the move, and Concord totally demoralized at that point. But were they? At that juncture, Coach Jack Gaddy changed the offense just a little bit. Started running the quarterback, Ryan McGonigal, up inside. It opened up the ends for some of the speedy backs out of the Concord backfield. And just to let you know how that happened, Concord on its next possession took the ball with 3 minutes and 41 seconds left in the first quarter. They would hold it for 8 minutes, 51 seconds. A masterpiece drive, 73 yards, 16 plays. Touchdown dive by Andy Milliken. Point after touchdown by Garrett Stum, and Concord's right back in the ball game at 14-7. It was Concord's defense's turn to the opportunity to come up big as they held Portsmouth to 3 and out. And Concord would come right back with a 4-play drive, 55 yards, and it would be a 39-yard touch by the speedy Sean Stafford. Point after touchdown by Garrett Stum was good again. And that's where we stand at 14-14 here at the intermission. 7 first downs in the first half for Concord, 6 of them on the ground, 1 on the penalties. Ryan McGonigal is 0 for 2 from the passing range tonight. It's Portsmouth with 6 first downs, 5 on the ground, 1 of them through the air. It was an 18-yard pass by the Portsmouth quarterback. He is 1 for 3 on the night for 18 yards. And that's where we are, 14-14 at the intermission. The fine Concord High School marching band on the field entertaining the pretty good-sized crowd here in Portsmouth tonight. The Portsmouth High Clipper Band, some 27 members strong, coming up after the Concord High Band finishes its routine here tonight. All right, we have a break to take back at the station, and we'll come back with some more halftime chatter here on WAM, the 1450 Sports Voice of the Capital Region in Concord. We'll be back after this.
High school sports are a source of great interest and pride, not only for the schools involved, but the communities they represent as well. High school sports can help bring a community together, providing a common focus to care about and to cheer for. Because of this important role in the lives of our communities, high school sports are about a lot more than winning and losing. They're about working together and growing together. That's why high school sports are such a tradition in the Capital Region. And the Capital City law firm of Rath, Young, Pignatelli, and Oyer, on behalf of its employees, clients, and friends, is pleased to be a part of this tradition by helping to bring these broadcasts to the community. And even more pleased to be a part of a community that cares so much for its young people.
All right, we are back here at Portsmouth again. This is one of 4 Class L football games on this Friday night, in addition to the Concord-Portsmouth game, where we are here in the Port City. Manchester Central is taking on Nashua down at Holman Stadium. That should have been a good game, but Central is a very big disappointment in 1991. Memorial at Trinity tonight at Gill Stadium in the Queen City, and that should be a very interesting game. I'm going to look forward to seeing the score. And I predict, Harvey, right now that tomorrow morning when I see that score, that's going to be one of those games where I go,
No kidding.
Yeah.
You think Memorial after 17 years can beat them?
I think Memorial has a shot tonight. Trinity down a little bit. They had a terrible, terrible start way back in the first week of the season. Seems to me they got stomped. And I look back here. Yeah, Merrimack beat Trinity 31-6 in the first game of the season. But since then, Trinity has come back pretty strong with, well, a 9-point win over hapless Milford. And
they beat Keene and
they beat Salem 18-0. Yeah, so that's a tough go of it, and they haven't looked really super against the weak teams, the weaker sister teams, if you will.
What I'm hoping for down there, Bruce, is that the fans in the Queen City turn out for that. They really have to be proud of the job that Butch Salidas has done. He's a former Memorial Crusader. He played back for Memorial, played on their football teams during the glory days. And if you really want to put Memorial football into perspective, they haven't beaten Trinity in 17 years. And this is a school, folks, that have one of the most dominant football programs in New England in schoolboy football. They won 6 state titles in an 11-year period. That's like a title every other year from 62 to 73. 27 wins in a row and 3 state titles in a row. And I think the 27 wins is a Division I or Class L record. I'm not so sure that Kennett hasn't broken that in the lower divisions. But Memorial football was great up on some good Massachusetts teams, and Butch Salidas was part of that. And he's restored that pride to that school down there. And maybe when we see the score tomorrow, the reader will say,
Yeah, it may very well be. Lord knows the weather will not be a problem for the fans in Manchester tonight. The other game is right over here on the seacoast, just down the street from us, as a matter of fact. Winnicott is playing at Spalding tonight. You can kind of look for the Red Raiders to have a big night there. 2 very interesting games. The one of them right here on the radio right in front of you, and the other one down at Gill Stadium in Manchester tonight, Memorial at Trinity. Tomorrow afternoon, over at Dover Point, it's the Bishop Brady Green Giants and the Saints of St. Thomas, and we'll be interested in seeing that one as well. Joining me now at the microphone is a gentleman that, well, it's nice to see you on the road, Bill.
Well, it's wonderful to be here. It's a real thrill for me to be able to put my band out on the field with the Portsmouth band. The Portsmouth band, to me, has always been one of the bands in the state to emulate, and I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to have my band out here tonight.
That is great. Bill Matavia, the Concord High School Director of Bands, and has the Crimson Tide band here and tuned up and looking very, very sharp in their nice, I guess they're year-old uniforms now. But
they're a year old, except that our color guard tonight is premiering their brand new uniform, so we're thrilled to have a lot of girls that are interested in coming out and being part of the color guard.
Now, it was pretty close to this trip not happening for the Concord High band. Can you explain what happened?
That's right. Because of the difficulties that we're all experiencing right now with the budget shortfall, it was decided by the administration that we weren't going to be able to make any of the away games this year. Fortunately, we've got a couple of bus drivers who feel very strongly about what the band does and decided that it would be certainly something they wanted to do to volunteer their time. So we have 2 bus drivers that have agreed to drive us just about anywhere we want to go. And the next step was that we needed to come up with some money to be able to pay for the mileage. It was 37 cents a mile. And we had several parents who jumped in. We'd like to be able to do that. And so we were able to make these trips now.
Okay, now Concord has a very active Friends of Music program with the parents at all levels, I guess, right from the elementary school right on up through high school. Now, are these the parents they came up with the bucks?
Well, as a matter of fact, you're right. The Friends of Music organization is indeed dedicated to supporting the music curriculum throughout the district. The folks who are paying for our trip happen to be members of the high school band's parents. And so while I expect that we do have support from the community, this specific donation came from members of our high school students.
Oh, it's wonderful that the community gets behind a band like this. And it's got to be gratifying for you as well with the... I played in the Concord High Band back in the mid-1960s, so I know the work that goes into putting a group of youngsters like this out on the football field each and every Saturday or Friday night in this case. But it's got to be gratifying for you to see the reception from the out-of-town crowds to the work, really, that you put in with these kids.
That's right. It's a real thrill for me to be able to stand down in the field and hear a warm reception from the Portsmouth audience. The folks here are very receptive to the work the band students put in.
Okay, and another highlight, you mentioned it very briefly just a moment ago, as far as the Portsmouth being one that you want to emulate, and the Concord band, of course, being so fine and really coming back after a few down years. They are back in force. How many kids do you have down there now?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that.
Okay.
We have 78 students out tonight that are playing members of the band, and in addition to that, we have 12 girls who are members of the color guard. So we travel now with 90 students, and I'm particularly pleased with that number because just 2 years ago, when I came to Concord, we had just 31 students sign up for band. Kids have really come through.
Yeah, that's not a bad percentage increase, I'll tell you. That is terrific, Bill, and I know that a lot of the credit goes to you and to Ms. Bourgeois down at the junior high with the program there, and all the way down, right through the feeder program, really, which is the music students all the way up the line. It's been a tremendous turnaround for the music program in the Concord schools, and we're very proud to, I got a little choked up over it, too. I was such a part of it for so many years when I was at Concord High, too, but it is really a thrill for me to see you here. And I'll tell you, what was it, 3 years ago, Harvey, 4 years ago we were here, and the Portsmouth band never even stepped foot on the field. There were only 12 kids in the stands. They were in uniform, but they sat in the stands and played. So the Portsmouth program, even with the loss of Pease Air Force Base, and the students from that group, they're out here and they're doing their thing. And also the band back in the 60s when...
Well, I think
I think so.
One of the things I wanted to mention to you, as you mentioned, we did quite a lot of work to come up with a new uniform just 2 years ago. At the time, when we were doing the fundraising, we had gotten up to 45 members in the band. We decided to take a wild and optimistic stab at what we would need, so we decided to buy 75 uniforms. Well, as you noticed tonight, our entire percussion line has to wear the old uniforms because we've already run out of enough uniforms. We're looking next year at the possibility, there's a very good possibility, we'll have 100 students in the high school band. So we're going to be on the crusade again to try to raise more money for more uniforms.
Okay, now I know in the last couple of years that you've been here, there have been some special trips that have been made by the band and some special appearances and whatnot. What's in the future for the rest of the school year for the Concord High Band?
Well, we've got, once again, a very busy year. The highlight of the year is always March, and last year, of course, WKXL helped us to publicize the national recognition of music in our school fund. And, of course, in March, once again, we'll be having a major concert for every segment of the music program. We start out the first week in March with a jazz program. The second week we go to a choral program with choral students from all over the city. The third week we have a string program with somewhere in the vicinity of 250 orchestra members. And we will conclude March with a band festival. And this year we're looking at having somewhere in the vicinity of 400 band students performing. So we've made quite a lot of progress.
That is terrific. Now, will you be headed off to any out-of-town festivals or anything? Or?
I was hoping you weren't going to ask me that.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we're in the planning stages for something, but frankly, the details haven't come together just yet, so I'm not supposed to talk about it yet.
Okay, so that's fair enough, folks. You never heard it. Bill Matavia, thank you very much for joining us here on the radio tonight. Good luck the rest of the way with the Concord High Band, and we'll look forward to seeing you at all of the rest of the football games.
That's right.
And into the playoffs.
There you go.
Parades and everything else in the concerts, and we'll be at the Christmas concert come December, too,
Wonderful.
to get that on the air for us.
Great.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Okay, Bill Matavia, Director of Bands at Concord High School, and very pleasant gentleman to know, and one that I've known for a couple of years, and it's really a thrill to see the way the Concord High School and the Concord music program in general come back from, as he said, 45 students a couple of years ago to 90 students here in the south, the end zone to my right anyway. I don't know if it's north, south, east, or west. The lights are on. Who knows? But at any rate, they are in that end zone and lined up and watching a very fine performance by a Portsmouth High School Clipper band. We have a 14-14 tie in the football game here on this Friday night in Portsmouth. We'll be back with more after this 60-second timeout.
Okay, so the leaves are turning and falling, the temperatures are dropping, and the area skiers are beginning to get itchy. If you folks would like to see what's new this year in the way of alpine and cross-country skis, equipment, and ski clothing, well, the ski pros at S&W Sport Shop are up to show off their brand new selections of 1991 ski products. S&W has skis by Fisher, Head, Rossignol, and Tyrolia. Bindings by Tyrolia, Marker, and Look. You'll find ski boots by Rakeley and Rossignol, along with ski clothing to fit and outfit the entire family from head to toe. Don't forget to get all the details on the Alpine Boot Rental Program. Now's a very good time to bring in your skis. Get them all tuned up so they'll be ready when that first snow falls. For complete Alpine and cross-country ski packages, plus ski accessories and personal ski clothing, along with Alpine Ski Rental Program, your one-stop headquarters is the S&W Sport Shop at 230 South Main Street in Concord, where their professionally trained staff will always properly outfit your family for the upcoming 91-92 Alpine and cross-country ski season.
Portsmouth High School Clipper Band going through their paces here on the field. We still have about 4 minutes left in the halftime program as they have extended it as they did in years past with Concord and Portsmouth bands, two of the finer organizations in the state. They've been joined by some other bands who rank right up there. Londonderry springs to mind. The Dover Band is a very, very good band. And it's a lot of fun here and a lot of color and pageantry here in high school football. 14-14 tie at the half. To continue with the schedule for tomorrow's football games around the state, in addition to the Bishop Brady at St. Thomas game, Class L, Bishop Girton is at Milford, Exeter, Keene is at West, Londonderry in that big game at Pinkerton. It's most of the kids who play for Londonderry, 10 years ago, of course, Londonderry High School didn't even exist, and most of the kids' fathers played for Pinkerton. So it's a first generation, I guess. And Harvey, I was just talking about what you and I were talking about coming over in the van this evening with the Londonderry-Pinkerton game, how most of the Londonderry kids, their fathers played for Pinkerton before there was a Londonderry High School. Kind of an interesting situation there.
You wonder how, that Brian O'Reilly and Tom Sawyer, the two coaches involved, tell me that it's the greatest rivalry in the state. And I say, how can it be? Only in 7 years. I said, Concord and Portsmouth are meeting for the 70th time tonight. And they said, because the Londonderry kids used to go to Pinkerton, and it makes sense. He said the whole two communities just turned out in great numbers. They had 6,000 lights last year. They expect the same thing tomorrow, and it makes sense. The Londonderry fathers all went to Pinkerton High School. The board of directors from both communities, and it's just a wonderful thing. And I look forward to being down there tomorrow.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Londonderry at Pinkerton. Salem is at Merrimack tomorrow, and then out in Class I, Hanover is at Hartford, Vermont. Laconia plays at Kingswood. That could be an interesting game, too, with two Lakes Region rivals going at it in Class I. I think Laconia has the edge, but that could be an interesting game. Lebanon at Bellows Falls. Plymouth should have an easy time of it with Monadnock on the road. Timberlane at Kennett. That might be one of the games you go
that's
to later on.
That's a good matchup. Two good coaches and two good programs going at each other, and Kennett a little bit down this year. If you just tuned in here, we're at halftime. Concord trailed 14-0. They've come back to tie it up 14-all.
Absolutely. That's where we are right now. There's still a minute 13 left here in the halftime show as they have extended the halftime proceedings here tonight. Franklin Somersworth, that game over here on the Maine-New Hampshire border could have some interesting implications as well.
Somersworth's off to a great start in Class I. They've been down for so many years. They're undefeated at 4-0. They have the T formation, going down there. But there's a guy coming in there tomorrow that knows the T really well, and that's Jim Mullaney of Franklin. And even though Franklin may be a little bit undersized in that game, you can't rule out the coaching factor. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Franklin upset them.
I agree with that. I think that the Golden Tornadoes come in with an excellent shot. Anytime you have a wily coach like Jim Mullaney, you can expect things to happen.
You saw two coaches here tonight that show why they've been one of the, two of the great ones here in the state. Tom Dobney's Portsmouth Clippers riddled the defense for those long runs and a 14-0 lead, and they had Concord stymied. I mean, Concord had to punt its first 2 or 3 possessions here, and then Jack Addy turned it around, and you could see the chess match going on, and he took Ryan McGonigal, the quarterback, and ran him up the middle. He kept running the quarterback up the middle because the linebackers were stuffing off tackle and around end plays, and then lo and behold, doesn't Concord break an end around for a long touchdown run? I mean, just terrific stuff.
Boy, if there was ever a game where I'd love to have a microphone in the locker rooms, it is this game right here to find out what has been said in there.
This is a great rivalry, Bruce. And, the 4 significant games in history. 1974, Portsmouth won the game in the regular season. Concord came back and won the state title. Its only loss of the year was to Portsmouth. In 81, Concord won the game. As Glenn Matthews kicked a field goal in overtime over here, Portsmouth came back to win the title. In 87, Portsmouth won the regular season game. Concord won the title. In 89, Portsmouth won the game, and Concord won the title. And it's almost better to lose this game if you have state title aspirations later on. It's been a terrific rivalry down through the years. And when you think of this as the 70th game tonight, and 69 games, 33 for Portsmouth, 31 for Concord, and 5 ties. That's just an amazing closeness down through the years.
Oh, absolutely. And you say about the importance of this win or loss in relationship to the state title. Right now, Portsmouth at 2-2, Concord at 3-1. This is a little bit bigger game, I think, for the Clippers as far as going into the state tournament. It's going to be an interesting. I, for one, am looking forward to it. 14-14 at halftime. Portsmouth won the first quarter 14-0, and Concord came back and took the second quarter 14-0. And I'll tell you, that drive that Concord put together there, the 16 plays, 73 yards in 8 minutes and 51 seconds. That was just a Jack Gaddy masterpiece.
You know, one of the coaches who probably had the most games behind the bench in this series, and we really haven't mentioned it, and we will address it more seriously later on, Dick Martin, who passed away this past summer, and tremendous loss to the community, as Dick was the football and basketball coach at Concord High. 21 years at the helm. He was 82 and 76. And everyone else has been just slightly under, and Portsmouth has had that kind of effect against Concord High teams. Jack Gaddy, 1-5. Who would have believed it? You probably could win a bet with a stat like that.
Oh, sure, because I don't think there's another coach in the state that he's 1-5 against.
And you know, not too many coaches have the upper hand on Mr. Gaddy. Brian O'Reilly is 3-2 in their 5-year relationship. So the two teams are back on the field. The captains have met, and Concord High received the opening kickoff. So we'll see what Portsmouth prefers here now, what they intend to do.
Portsmouth will receive the ball here to start the second half, and they will go from left to right across your radio dial, and Concord will go from right to left, obviously, as they collide here in the second half of play.
One of the officials up with a cast on his wrist out there?
It does appear, yes. Yes, he's got his right wrist and up to just about the elbow in a cast. He's down here at the 40-yard line setting up the ball for Concord to kick off to Portsmouth to begin the third quarter. And it seems like yesterday we played the second quarter. That was a long halftime.
Thanks to Bill Matavier
for
halftime. You know, and Bill, right with his band, watched every move out there, took notes, and then came up and joined us for our halftime interview. He's been quite an addition to the Concord High staff.
He certainly has, and a fine bunch of kids, too. Harvey, 2 years ago when he came here, the band was 45. Tonight it was 90.
Terrific. All right, we're underway as Garrett Stump puts the ball in the air. It is a fake reverse. Moody keeps the football. He comes over the 20, 25, and gets bounced around like a pinball at the 30-yard line, and that's where the Clippers will put the offense in motion. And they've got to put it at the 32 after the spot of the football. For the Clippers out there, Jason Lodge, 6'1" senior quarterback. Peter Gordon, a 5'5", little fire plug type of a fullback. He's a junior. Sean Croto, 5'7" senior, who has 2 touchdowns here tonight. Both long runs, one of them a 75-yard run. Keith Moody, the other halfback. First play from scrimmage, Portsmouth. They give the ball to Peter Gordon, the fullback, and he is met with a lot of resistance right at the line of scrimmage. And this is the interesting part of the game for the football purists, Bruce. You like to see what adjustments great coaches like Dobney and Gaddy make at halftime.
Yeah, pick up of 2 yards on the play right there. It brings up a second down and 8 yards, and they're at their own 33-yard line.
Wideouts on both. Looks like a pro set for the Clippers. It is a straight pitch to Sean Croto, and he gets stopped dead in his tracks. The play is designed to let him do a little bit of freelancing out there, but the Concord High linebackers on that side wouldn't let hear it. Gary Gott did a nice job coming across the line of scrimmage from his quarterback position and stopping the ball carrier.
Got him.
You beat me to it. Gary got him. Beautiful.
All right, 3rd down and 8 there at the 33-yard line, and that play for Croto was wide open in the first quarter, but Concord defense shut him down on that one.
All right, let's look for Jason Lodge to put it in the ball. Jason's back. He lodges it. It's over the line, and it is incomplete. And making life miserable for the intended receiver down there, John McMaster, was Tommy Marshall, the inside linebacker, who has 5 knockdowns this year of intended passes. Does a nice job coming over the shoulder of John McMaster to knock it down. 4th down for the Clippers.
Lodge is 1 for 4 for 18 yards passing tonight.
4th down and 7. Keith Moody.
4th and 7 at their own 33-yard line.
Keith Moody, a 5'10 senior, back at the 20-yard line. Steps up to the 25, hits it and puts it up in the air. It's kind of wobbly, a short punt. Takes a Concord bounce back towards the midfield area. It's going to be finally put into play at about the Concord High 41-yard line. So the Crimson Tide, who scored in their last 2 possessions for all intents and purposes at the end of that second period, have tied it up 14-all, and let's see what they can do now.
Tell you what, Harvey, did you see the Concord players? You look back to that punt where we thought the Portsmouth maintained possession, but they gave it to Concord. Did you see the Concord players scatter on that one?
Certainly did.
Oh, yeah.
They were right away from it.
I think
Milligan in the slot, right side, split back formation to start the Tide off here in period number 3. They give the ball to Shane Stafford. He rumbles across right tackle, rolls across the 45-yard line, stops at the 46. Looks like a little healthy 5-yard.
It does. It's going to be exactly 5 yards, and the ball is marked now out at the 46-yard line. Brings up a 2nd and 5.
Forrestal is the center for the Crimson Tide tonight.
That's what we had talked about in the first half, Harvey. They were starting to build those 3, 4, 5-yard gains on first down.
All right, the Crimson Tide take that split back formation. They give it to Stafford again. He goes across the right side, and he's across the 50-yard line. They have to get inside the 50 to the Portsmouth 49 for a first down. They're going to come up short. It's going to be 3rd down and about a yard for a first down for the Crimson Tide. The ball right at the 50-yard line here on the coast on a beautiful night.
It is a beautiful night, too. It's a 3rd and 1 right on the midfield stripe. And a little nip in the air, but after all, it is the 4th of October.
But see what the Crimson Tide can do right here. Will the big guy, the quarterback, keep it in this situation? Nope, they hand it inside to the fullback. He goes across the line of scrimmage. He doesn't get many yards, but he's got enough for the first down. Mike Mayo gives the Crimson Tide a first down. Their first here in the 3rd period. 14-all if you're just joining us on the radio. 8:39 to play in period number 3. Concord, a strange ball game.
Concord coming demoralizing Portsmouth blitz in the first quarter, where they built up a 14-0 lead and held Concord to 8 plays in that first quarter. And in the meantime, Concord found their legs and came back. 1st and 10 for Concord at the Portsmouth 45.
And Milligan in the slot, right side. Not too much out of that T formation tonight. Shane Stafford gets the carry, and he stops at the line of scrimmage on the right side. As Coach Gaddy has gotten away from the straight and balanced T formation and keeps putting a man in the slot or a man right behind tackle to give him that extra blocker. You know, generally the carry is going to go that way, but they give them the extra blocker there. And we'll see what the Crimson Tide do here. It's going to be 2nd down and 10. That play went nowhere. That's the first time Concord's really been stopped in a first down situation in a long time here. In motion, comes extra from left to right, and Stafford follows him around the left corner. He turns the corner. He's got some running room across the 40, the 30, down to the 20, and he's out of bounds at about the 18-yard line. Good lead block thrown by Matty Ekstrom, who was in motion, and he took out the end on that side, and around the corner came Shane Stafford for a long gain and another Concord High first down.
Kind of a late hit out of bounds, too, Harvey, thrown on the play, but it is the 9th game for the Crimson Tide. Puts the ball inside the 25. They're down to the 23.5-yard line.
Moved it back a little bit.
They sure did.
At the 23, Ross is in for Ekstrom now. He's in the slot on the right side. McGonigal takes the snap. He fumbles a little bit, and then he hangs onto it so that it goes nowhere. A good heads-up play by Ryan McGonigal because he didn't field the ball very cleanly from the center, John Forrestal, and rather than go through with the play, he elected to just bury the ball in his stomach and not lose the football. Heads-up play, I believe.
Yeah, he's going to lose a little bit of yardage out to the 26-yard line. Loss of 3 on the play. That was a 22-yard pickup by Asada on the last play, Harvey.
Well, they're going to need something like that right now. 2nd down and about 13 for the Crimson Tide. The 25-yard line of Portsmouth. Stafford gets the call as he goes off right tackle, steps up in between Eric Wood and Dave Velocich. Got a good block from Tommy Marshall, the pulling guard from the left, who pulled to the right and kicked out the linebacker to allow Stafford up in there. Nice gain for the speedy back, but it's going to bring up 3rd and long for the Crimson Tide.
It is. It looks like they're putting it right back at the original line of scrimmage, which is the 23-yard line.
Third down.
3rd and 9. They're calling it a 10 on the scoreboard. You can see the down marker there is about a foot or so inside. So it's a long 9.5. Will Ryan put the ball in the air here? Stafford in motion. Looks like that same play, but Stafford goes the other way now. Gets the pitch, turns the right corner, or he doesn't turn the right corner. And it's the better description of the play, and gets thrown out of bounds at around the 24-yard line. So a 4th down play for the Crimson Tide. Garrett Stumm's range, I believe, for a field goal try, but not a punting situation for a Jack Yaddy coach team, and timeout by the Crimson Tide to talk about it. What will the held man do? 14-14, 4th down and 9. Come back and join us.
The area's family footwear center, Denroy Shoes at 76 North Main Street in downtown Concord, invites you to the locker room. It's the new locker room at Denroy Shoes, and it's chock full of great Nike footwear and Nike clothing. The locker room at Denroy Shoes has Nikes for men, for women, and for children. The locker room at Denroy Shoes has Nike gym and book bags, Nike hats, Nike t-shirts, Nike sweats, and cool, comfortable Nike nylon jackets and pants. You'll love the selection, and you'll find the values outstanding. Of course, for athletic footwear, the locker at Denroy Shoes just can't be beat for selection. Men and women can choose a Nike shoe for every athletic activity, from walking to cross-training, from tennis to basketball, from cleated to running, from force to the Nike Air. So when it comes to athletic footwear, you look to Nike. And when it comes to Nike, look to the locker room at Denroy Shoes, 76 North Main Street, in the heart of downtown Concord.
It's a big play coming, 4th and 9 for the Crimson. They're at the Portsmouth. Third quarter, 14-14 tie.
So Concord keep possession here. In the slot goes Shane Stafford. Back to pass is McGonigal. He puts the ball in the air. They're going for it. Oh, Ekstrom's open, but the ball's overthrown in the corner of the end zone. And did Ryan McGonigal unload a picture-perfect pass, but just a little too long for the streaking Ekstrom. And with Portsmouth Clippers all over him, McGonigal threw a really tight, pretty spiral down there.
Yeah, about 47 yards in the air, Harvey, a tight spiral, and that was thrown with a good deal of authority, too. Portsmouth's going to take over 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line.
I'm not sure that Ekstrom believed that his man could get it to him. He held up a little bit at around the 10.
Well, I believe he's got an arm. I've seen it a couple of times.
Here comes Croto back the other way for the Clippers. He stopped at the line of scrimmage. And as you might expect, with a 14-14 halftime lead and 2 excellent coaches here, this has turned into a defensive struggle. The Crimson Tide of Concord High at 3-1 on the year, trying to make a comeback from last year's 4-4 disaster that saw them finish 8th. Can you imagine finishing 8th at 4-4 and getting in a tournament as a disaster? But that's what the football fans have come to expect out of these kids now. This breeds more excellence. Croto again gets the call, and he is smothered at the line of scrimmage, and Concord High's defense really starting to toughen up. Blake Savoy, Tim Thompson, Andy Funk, and Dave Blossage, all seniors except for Blake, who's a sophomore. The linebackers, Mike Mayo out on the left corner, Tom Marshall, and Andy Milligan. Well, actually, Blake Savoy's backing up the line tonight, and Milligan's down on the defensive end. And Gary Gott is the right cornerback. Ryan McGonigal, Shane Stafford, and Matty Ekstrom back there defensively for the Crimson Tide. 3rd and 7 for the Clippers. Back to pass is Jason Lodge. It's a screen pass. It is complete to the halfback, coming over to the 25, and he's thrown before he can get the first down. Andy Milligan on a great tackle of Keith Moody. Moody came out of the backfield in a screen pass situation, took the pass from, and Milligan was there to throw him out of bounds, and the Clippers are going to have to punt it away.
Yeah, that's about a 1-yard pickup on the play. Well, we'll give him 2 yards. We'll call it a 4th and 6 from the 27-yard line. And Lodge is now 2 for 5 passing for 20 yards.
All right. Keith Moody puts his foot into the ball. It's a wobbly spiral. Back here to, oh, wow. A fake handoff. Matty Ekstrom fielded the punt and then handed it off to Milligan, and Milligan wished he hadn't.
Milligan will never forgive him for that play, I'll tell you what.
What are you giving me the ball for? Handoff, bang. Oh.
That is not the way it's drawn on the board, folks. I'll tell you
what. I think you need a little more room to be able to pull that off, and to their credit, those kids hang on to the football, and they have a first down. So with 3:42 to play in period number 3, 14 is the score. The Crimson Tide get the ball back for the second time here in this period.
That was cruel.
All right, back to passes McGonigal. He unloads another one. He's got Ekstrom out there. He's got the ball at the 30, down to the 25, down to the 20. And this time Ekstrom had to wait for the football to get to him or he would have been gone. As they went right back to the same play, and on a first down play, Ryan McGonigal unloads the bomb to Matty Ekstrom, who was in the slot, and went out and fielded the pass, and that went big yardage.
37 yards, Harvey. Ryan is 3 for 4. Oh, rather, I'm sorry, 1 for 4 and 34 yards.
And that wasn't really a well-thrown ball, but Ekstrom, with a great presence, did a nice job hauling it in. So let's see what the Tide can do now. They are just inside the 20-yard line, inside handoff, fullback. Mayo has the football. He's across the 20 to 15, and he's down inside the 10-yard line, close to the 8-yard line. They have to get to about the 9 for a first down. Let's see where they spot it.
It is a first down, Harvey.
First and goal to go for the Crimson Tide on a nice fullback trap run by Mike Mayo right up the middle.
Boy, what a difference a few ticks of the clock makes.
Ooh, whatever Caddy would pass the football like that on first down as the referees blow the play dead before Concord can snap the ball. I don't think there's a penalty involved. I just don't think that they're quite organized yet for the kids to snap the ball, and they send Concord back to its huddle.
I was mistaken. It was a 37-yard pass play, not 34. Give him the 3 yards that he deserves.
Funny, I put 37 down on my notes, too.
Well, you were right. I was wrong. First and goal anyway now at the 8-yard line for the Crimson Tide.
All right, let's see what the Tide can do. First and goal to go. Can they break the Portsmouth jumps offsides? Were they drawn offside? The flags go up. 2 Portsmouth kids jumped off. The defensive tackles on both sides.
Concord's walking backwards.
And they're marching the football toward the goal line.
Yeah.
So it is going to be even closer to that goal line across the 5. It's going to be first and goal from the 4.5 to be precise. Concord wants to capitalize here. 2:31 to play, period number 3, a 14-14 tie. And the Crimson Tide looking to take the lead for the first time tonight. T formation, perfect balance by the Tide kids. The handoff to Ekstrom. He slashes over right tackle, and he's down close to the goal line. Not quite in, but a terrific play by the yardage. Really tough in this situation. All fans realize. And they get a good gain. They run it from the 4.5 down to about the 2.5. Tough 2-yard pickup. Second down, goal to go from the 2.5. We'll call it the 2.
Under 2 minutes left in the third.
All right, they're up there again in the tee. The snap, the give. Milligan, he rumbles across. He doesn't even get tackled. Touchdown, Concord. They take the lead. Andy Milligan with his second touchdown of the evening gives Concord the lead, 20-14, with Garrett Stum on to try for a perfect 3 tonight. How about that comeback, everybody? Down 14-0 after 1 period of play. The Tide has come back to take the lead. So in at center is Dave Velocich. Mike Mayo is the 10-yard line. The snap, the hold, Stum's kick. It's into the air. It's through the goalpost, and the Crimson Tide take a 21-14 lead. Don't you go away now at home. We'll be right back.
At Horizon Bank, we're proud to serve you, our neighbors and friends, because working together, we've made this community strong. Please visit us often and let us know how we're doing at Horizon Bank. Horizon Bank and Trust, 197 Loudon Road, Concord, member FDIC.
First quarter belonged to the Portsmouth High School Clippers. They built a 14-0 lead, total domination on their part, but Concord has come back and dominated the rest of the game. And now with 1:48 left here in the third quarter of play, Concord 21, Portsmouth 14. Here's the kickoff, Harvey.
All right, Bruce LeBoy, and Garrett Stum puts his foot into the ball, sends it down to about the 12-yard line. Mealy has it there. He comes straight up the middle of the field and gets out over the 30, about the 32 before he is stopped. He put on a little burst and looked for a moment like he might break it, but Concord contained him.
Ball's out to the 36-yard line, is that?
Yep.
It is.
And you talk about ball control and Concord High with long sustained drives, and then all of a sudden, out of the hat, Jack Gaddy digs deep and he pulls off a first down, 37-yard pass from McGonigal to Ekstrom to set up that touchdown by Milligan. In motion goes Mealy. He gets the call. He tries the left side, and he is swarmed under. Good tackle by the Concord kids. Stafford's up there, Mayo's up there for the Crimson Tide, and that defense is really alive right now.
Sure is. The whole team is alive. They are playing so well. This is I don't know who they had playing in the first quarter. It wasn't these kids, though, that's for sure.
You know, you can see Concord has a little more talent out here on the football field. Trying to be objective about this, but Portsmouth had a little more heart early in the game, and they were really outplaying the Crimson Tide. Concord's playing now, and I think they just took this team a little too lightly tonight. We're in a ball game. Moody in motion. Back to passes. Lodge, the quarterback. He sprints right. He puts it in the air, and making a diving, sliding catch is Sean Croto out of the backfield. Full catch by Sean on a ball that was underthrown. Doesn't quite come up with enough yardage for the first down, but he's going to make it close. It's going to be 3rd and 1. That kid is quite a performer.
He sure is. He sure is. He is a treat to watch. It'll be a 3rd down and about 2 yards to go. Pick up of 8 yards on the play for
Croto. Had a 23-yard touchdown run in the first period. He had a 75-yard touchdown run from the line of scrimmage. He's made several outstanding defensive plays. They give it to Croto this time, and he bursts across the right side for a Clipper first down.
And that is the first one in ages for Portsmouth.
And just like that, the Clipper kids are now showing a little bit of mental toughness out here as they bounce back from adversity and start to move the football on the Tide out here.
That is the first down of the second half for Portsmouth, and it's the end of the 3rd quarter.
And 3 periods of play over here on the coast. Concord 21, Portsmouth 14. It should be a whale of a final period. Come back and join us, everybody. We'll be right back to Portsmouth.
Bobby Young and the staff of Young East Florist at 30 Manchester Street in Concord would like to take this opportunity to wish everyone associated with the Concord High and Bishop Brady football teams the very best of luck during their respective 1991 football seasons. You know, high school sports play a very important role in any community. And through the dedicated hard work in by the staff and members, the Crimson Tide and Green Giant players learned to work together as a team, each member completing their assignment in order to accomplish a common team goal. Now, the teamwork learned by this year's group of young men on the rosters of Bishop Brady and Concord High will become a lifelong lesson on how to accomplish a common goal through athletics, knowing that how you play the game will become examples of how you go through life long after one has covered the 100 yards on the football field. This message from your florist in Concord, Young East Florist at 30 Manchester Street. And again, good luck to both Concord High and Bishop Brady.
Well, the first play of the 4th period, Jason Lodge lifted one downfield, and Jim Hogan, a 6-foot senior, made a great running catch over the shoulder, and the Clippers ball at Concord's 19-yard line. They can strike quick.
32-yard pass play.
Really in motion. The ball is in the air again. He's got a man open. It's Hogan. He's at the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, Portsmouth. They're back with 2 passes. Jason Lodge to Jim Hogan from 19 yards out. And the Clippers come back to within 1. And the quarterback, Lodge, over to the bench and high-fiving with the coaching staff and the kids over there. What 2 well-thrown passes to put that ball down all the way into the end zone. We got a ball game, folks.
Boy, do we ever. 21-20. Here's the point after touchdown coming.
Piper, a good kicking specialist, has his foot into the ball. It's up, and we are tied. 21-21. 11:45 to play. We'll be right back. It should be a doozy down the stretch.
High school sports are a source of great interest and pride, not only for the schools involved, but the communities they represent as well. High school sports can help bring a community together, providing a common focus to care about and to cheer for. Because of this important role in the lives of our communities, high school sports are about a lot more than winning and losing. They're about working together and growing together. That's why high school sports are such a tradition in the Capital Region. And the Capital City law firm of Rath, Young, Pignatelli, and Oyer, on behalf of its employees, clients, and friends, is pleased to be a part of this tradition by helping to bring these broadcasts to the community. And even more pleased to be a part of a community that cares so much for its young people.
Didn't take the Clippers long. Here's the kickoff.
All right, good kick by Piper. Sends Ekstrom all the way back to his 10-yard line. He starts up over the 15, the 20, the 25, bulls his way ahead, and doesn't quite get to the 30. And then Ross and Portsmouth's Josh Hudson get up, tangled, and throw away, as both teams are into it right now.
Boy, they sure are. And this crowd being treated to a dandy Class L football game here tonight. 21 up with 11 and a half minutes left here in the game. And Concord with the ball at their own 29-yard line, 1st and 10.
We've seen some spectacular offensive plays out here. Some passes, some long runs, some reverses, and the Tide with the tee. The ball is dropped on the snap. Falling down on it is McGonigal. Did he get it? No. Portsmouth recovers at their 30-yard line. The Clippers are hot.
That's the second turnover for Concord tonight. Both of them fumbles, and Portsmouth has picked it up both times.
I'll tell you, Portsmouth owned the first period. Concord owned the second and the third period. Now Portsmouth's come back and started to dominate again in the fourth period. It's 21-21, and the Clippers have recovered a Concord fumble. The Crimson Tide 28-yard line. Let's see if Lodge goes right to the air. He has receivers out on both sides, and Croto in the slot left side. There he goes. He's back to pass. Good rush by Thompson, and he makes him cough it up. Terrific run by rush by Timmy Thompson of the Crimson Tide to force Lodge to cough it up early, and he did have that man Jim Hogan open again.
It's evident that the strategy here in the fourth quarter is to put the ball in the air, and Lodge is one who can throw it, and he has indeed piled up some passing yardage that we will need a calculator to figure out a little bit later on here.
Well, Jack told us he was a great passer, and he just wasn't on the mark there early, but he's come back now. He sets up well, he backpedals real well, he plants his feet well. He's got receivers out on both sides. Croto is in motion. Fake to him. It's a give to the other back going the other way, and he's got some good yardage. Keith Moody busts across the 25 and down inside the 20-yard line. And the Clippers of Portsmouth have come alive at the right time. Did Concord let up after taking the lead in the ball game for the first time?
Well, Concord came back and dominated Portsmouth the way the Clippers have dominated Concord in the first half, so that may very well be the case.
Work so hard to overcome a deficit and take a lead, and then you forget that you got to keep working at it.
3rd down and 1 at the 20-yard line.
Nice situation. Back to pass. Nope. And Croto, he dances across the right side. He's on across the 10. He's got it at the 5. And he falls just short of the 5-yard line, and only a saving tackle by Ryan McGonigal, the safety, prevents the Clipper touchdown. But they have the ball at the 7-yard line after the spot, and the Clippers are looking to go ahead here.
1st and goal at the 7, and my goodness, how did he break away? He was dead to right out about the 12, 13-yard line, and all of a sudden the ball's down at the 7.
Great play action pass, run play. Lodge faking pass and then tucking it into Croto, and he went downfield. Here we go, Clippers. They're wide. Croto in motion. Lodge hides the ball in his hip. He puts it in the air, cutting across the end zone, and out away is the defense away from Hogan. And it was Shane Stafford of Concord High tipping the ball away from Hogan, the intended receiver. Oh, this kid Lodge sets up beautifully.
Tell you what, Harvey, Lodge was 1 for 3 rather at halftime, and now he is 5 for 10. So he has really picked up his passing stats here in the second half.
He is taller than the other kids out there. Now that the ball is closer to where we are, he is a tall quarterback out there. 2nd down and 7 for the touchdown for the Clippers. Inside handoff. Moody gets the ball. He's up the middle of the field. Touchdown, Portsmouth. They take the lead. Keith Moody, 5'10", senior back. After the fake pass and the fake to Croto, Moody went right up the middle of the field for the go-ahead touchdown for the Clippers, and they take the lead. And what a ball game over here on the coast.
7-yard touchdown run for the youngster.
We are broadcasting right in the middle, the heart of the Portsmouth Clipper fans, and you probably can hear the enthusiasm. Piper, bad snap. The quarterback is up. He's going to try to throw the ball. It's in the end zone. Hogan has it. 2-point conversion. How about that? What way by the holder down there? It was Keith Moody, the halfback, who holds. It was a low snap. He picked it off the ground, knew that Piper wasn't going to have a chance to kick it. He got up in traffic and threw it down, and Hogan made a great catch in the end zone for 2 points. And that gives the Clippers a 29-21 lead here, and a Piper to kick off. And I'll tell you, when a bunch of kids can pull something out that wasn't planned, you know
they have a great presence out there.
Oh,
Give Portsmouth credit. That was terrific. Oh, man, it was a bad snap from center. And the holder, Keith Moody, who just scored the touchdown, still had the adrenaline and the presence to pick up the football and throw it into the end zone for the two-point conversion. And it's 29-21, 9:46 to play. What will the Crimson Tide do now? All right, Piper's kickoff. It's a boomer. It is sending Stafford back to the 5. He's back up to the 10, the 15, over the 20, out to the 25, and he's thrown down hard. McMaster on the tackle. And Coach Dobney has all the starters out there in the special teams assignments tonight. He's going for the downs. You heard the coach before they need this one if they have any aspirations of us.
Well, you know, it's like Portsmouth fell asleep there for a while after they dominated the first quarter, and Concord took over and really rammed it down their throat, so to speak. A couple of long drives, but Portsmouth is all over the Tide right now.
Let's see if Concord can tough it up now and put a drive together. Ekstrom gets the call. He stopped at the line of scrimmage. He tried to come over the middle, and Portsmouth was waiting. They are a fired-up bunch of athletes, these Clippers, right now.
Concord held a 21-14 lead in this game in the third quarter at the end of the third, as a matter of fact. Right now it's 29-21 Portsmouth as the Clippers have come back with 15 points here.
All right, let's see what Concord can do right now. Second down and a 9. In the slot is straight handoff, fullback trap up the middle. Portsmouth bends, but it doesn't break, and they contain Concord. They don't give them a first down. 2-yard pickup by the fullback Mayo.
Ball is just over the 30-yard line. We're going to call it a 30. Pick up a 3 on the play. It brings up a third down and 5 yards to go.
That'll be more like a third and 6.
Third and 6.
All right, Milligan goes in the spot on the right side. Backs a split behind McGonigal. Will they put it in the air, the Crimson Tide? McGonigal fakes, gives it to the fullback. Straight running play. Right up comes Shane Stafford. He's got to get over the 35, and he's tackled just in front of the 35. Fourth down and a short. It's going to be fourth and about a yard and a half. Will they punt? We have 7 minutes and 55 seconds to play. Fourth down yard now after the spot of the football. Big play for the Crimson Tide. Mayo in at fullback. Stafford heads off.
Just a smidgen over the 35. And Harvey, I don't know if you can't look away from the play, but quarterback Lodge down here is going through quite a routine on each play. It looks like he's
going for it, everybody. Fourth and a yard to go. We're in the fourth period. The give. Milligan, he's got the first down and more. He's over midfield. He's got some distance between them. There are no Portsmouth players. Only one man has a shot. Bye-bye, Milligan. He's in the end zone. As Rob Sawyer ran in front of the last tackler that had a shot on him, Big Rob put his 6'5" body, just ran in front of him, and that gave Milligan enough time to rumble into the end zone. 4th and 1, they get more than one. They get a touchdown.
65-yard touchdown run.
How about that? They were going for one, and they got it all. 65 yards, and Concord obviously has to go for 2 here. One would do them no good. A field goal can still win it, so they're going to go for 2. One would make absolutely no sense to go for, and they're going to go for 2. Milligan in the slot, right side. Concord wants to tie it up with 7 left. McGonigal, naked reverse, left side. End zone, 2 points. He's got it, and we're tied at 29 all. What a ball game. Don't you touch that dial. We'll be right back at 29-29 from the coast.
At the Allied Insurance Agency, their motto, your protection is our profession, is practiced daily. Their professional staff is truly at your service when it comes to protecting you, your family, and your business with total insurance coverage at very attractive rates. The Allied Insurance Agency is locally owned and operated. They know the greater Concord area. They live here, and their staff utilizes the services of excellent New Hampshire insurance companies. Companies such as the Concord Group, Peerless, and the New Hampshire Insurance Company. At the Allied Insurance Agency, they believe in supporting the area's youth, and they've established a long-standing tradition of high school sports sponsorship. And once again this fall, the winning tradition of Allied Insurance and local high school football continues as Allied Insurance XL bring you these live broadcasts of the Concord High Crimson Tide and the Fisher Brady Green Giant football games. From Dave Gazaway Sr. and Dave Gazaway Jr. and the entire staff of Allied Insurance Agency, good luck and good sportsmanship.
29-29, and here is Garrett Stumm's kickoff. It rolls on the ground. Picked up there by Moody at the 15, to the 20, the 20, out over the 30. And thrust his fist in the air for the Tide as he brings Moody down. 7:14 to play in regulation time. We are tied at 29-29. What an odd score, you say at home. We've had two successful two-point conversions by each team here down the stretch.
And the one by Portsmouth was a mistake. It wasn't supposed to be a two-point conversion, but it turned out to be.
I'll tell you, I'm seeing athletes on both sides of the field here pull off some terrific execution. These high school kids are playing ball tonight. Straight running play. Croto has the ball across the 35 to the 40. One man to beat at the 50, and he doesn't do it. Hauled down from behind. A touchdown saving tackle right there.
Tell you what, Harvey, this Portsmouth team, and Concord for that matter too, are going to move up in the offensive ranks. Portsmouth a week ago, 6 points on the board against Spalding, but Spalding had 48 in the game. Tonight, 29 points apiece here, as this has come to a
great ball game. Dynamite Dave Vlasic tackled the ball carrier at the 45. 1st and 10 for the Clippers. They're on their 45. Straight give, middle of the line, right up the middle of the field. Goes Moody, the halfback, and he lumbles across the 50 and down to the Concord 40-yard line. Big plays, big gains on every snap of the ball now by both teams.
Another first down for Portsmouth.
Another first down.
This is hard keeping up with all of these stats now, as Portsmouth has just gotten its, 11th first down of the game. Concord has 11 as well.
And 29-29 on the scoreboard.
How about that?
First down for the Clippers. They're in Concord territory right now from the 42-yard line of Concord High. The ball to the fullback up the middle, and Jason Lodge, the quarterback now, doesn't look like he has any notion of throwing the football. Both of these teams have excellent kickers. Both could win this game with a field goal. And now the play calling becomes critical by the two head men, and we have addressed their storied careers several times tonight on this broadcast.
Pick up a 4 yards on the play, second down, and they're calling it 7 on the scoreboard.
Receiver out left, and they give it to Croto on a reverse. Right side, he's got some running room. Every time that kid touches the ball, he's dangerous. 30, 25, he's out of bounds. He is dangerous. Sean Croto, 5'7" senior, 29-yard touchdown run, 75. Been brilliant here tonight for the Clippers.
And countless first downs for Portsmouth.
We hope that you enjoy our efforts to be here tonight. It has been a 2-day affair with the telephone company to get us hooked up tonight.
They've done a great job,
but it has been well worth the effort. The Clippers first down again. They're inside Concord's 30-yard line. They give it to Moody. He tries the left side, and he's tackled before he can turn the corner, and Mike Mayo comes up with a great athletic one-on-one tackle and brings Moody down.
That's right. Moody made a tremendous move to get away from one tackler, but then he could not escape the second one as he was just dropped there for a pickup of about 1 yard on the play down to the 27-yard line. Second down and 9, 5 minutes even left here in regulation time.
Where is the defense, you ask?
Who
cares?
There.
Who
it's
cares?
There.
This is a great ball game. 29 all, under 5 now. The Clippers, second down and 8 from Concord's 28. Back to pass is Lodge. He throws it out in the flat, nobody there. I mean, nobody within 20 yards of that football. Was it a throwaway?
He didn't seem to be under that much pressure, but no flag on the play or anything. However, you look around these stands, I haven't seen so many clipboards, and I don't know when. The Dover coaching staff is down here in the end zone. Guys in blue jackets down there as well. I don't know where they're from. I suspect the green guys are from Dover. But you see clipboards all over this place. There are more scouts here than I don't know where. The line in there someplace. I cannot find it.
Third down and a 9 for the Clippers. Lodge gives it to Moody, and he's tackled for about a 2-yard gain. He was at the line of scrimmage, and he's squiggled away from Milligan, but Milligan wraps him up, and it sends the Clippers into a 4th down situation here, and they're going to call a timeout. We'll keep it right here. The situation is this on the coast, everybody. 4:29 to play. The score is 29-29. Portsmouth has the ball at the Concord 24-yard line. They've got to get the ball inside to about the 18 for a first down.
Yeah, 4th down and 5 on the play right now, and I've lost my left ear here. Keeps popping in every once in a while.
It's when the left lip goes that we're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Look at Mr. Lodge along the sidelines there. He's got his helmet off, and he is pacing like a caged tiger right now.
I would imagine from the 24 that Tom Dobney's not going to try to punt, put Concord down near the 5 or anything.
Would we see another long field goal attempt?
24, 34, 44. It would be about the same distance that
Wow.
Piper tried at the end of the first half. He tried for about a 44-yard field goal, and it came up short on the left side. I would imagine, they're going to try it. They're going to try the field goal. It's going to be about a 40-yard attempt.
Yep, 40 yards.
The holder is at the 40-yard line. The ball is down. It's in the air. It has the distance, and it is to the left side. It had the distance, everybody.
Yep.
But it faded off to the left side of that goalpost, and Concord gets a chance with 4:24 to play. They'll take over that football at their 20-yard line after the missed field goal attempt.
That was a better attempt than the first one that sailed wide right from the very first. That one had a few of the fans fooled here in Portsmouth, and it'll be good. He did get it away good, and it was kind of not an end over end, but sideways kind of a kick that just kind of sailed wide to the left. It was spinning that way.
I give Keith Moody, the holder, a lot of credit
Oh,
because it was
absolutely.
a high snap, and he got it down in a hurry.
Oh.
All right, the Tide. Split back formation. McGonigal, the snap, the pitch to Stafford. He tries the left side. It's a fumble. Portsmouth has it.
Well, the last time in this situation, the Clippers took it in very quickly. We'll see what they can do here as they take over again. Concord's third miscue and third fumble.
It was a pitch to Stafford. He tried the left side. He got tackled around the knees, and as he hit the ground, he just coughed up the football, and Portsmouth has it at the 20-yard line.
Well, they're in fine shape now as they take over on the +20, 1st and 10 in a 29-29 tie, and now time becomes a definite factor with 4:11 left here in regulation time.
Absolutely. All right, here comes Moody in motion. They give it to Crotto, middle of the field. He gets 4 yards and stacked up just over the line of scrimmage. What a play that was. They faked it to Moody, who was in motion, and then they kind of submarined the ball to the talented kid Crotto, and they were trying to hide it, and he went up inside. Good gain, 3 yards, 4 yards maybe.
Yeah, we'll give him 4 on the play. Call it a 2nd down and 6 yards from the 16-yard line. And if there was ever a time for the Concord defense to come up big, here it is, folks.
All right. LaLancelette is applied left side. Lodge puts the ball in the air. He has a man open, and he drops it at the 10-yard line. Keith Moody out of the backfield, dropped the football, but in his defense, the pass was down around his knees. It wasn't up waist high or above, and he had to kind of bend down at an awkward position and couldn't contain it. Mayo was all over him to harass him in his attempt to catch that football. Third down.
I have a hunch that was one of those he tried to go before he caught it type of things. It was a tough ball to catch, but he was all alone. He wasn't hit by anybody or anything. It's just
But catchable is what you say.
Thank you.
Timeout by the Clippers. 3:25 to play. 29-29 is your score. And we will keep it here and set the stage for the end for you if you've been away or if you've been with us. Either way, you know the score now is 29-29, 3:25 to play. The ball is at the 18-yard line of Concord High. Portsmouth has a 3rd down. They need 6 for, and they have 2 plays to get that. That time they were going for it all, didn't get it. What are they going to try here now, Bruce
Oh,
LeBoy?
boy, I don't know. I'm not even going to pretend to guess tonight. I'll tell you. It's 3:25 left in the game. At the half, it was 14-14. Portsmouth took the first quarter 14-0. Concord came back with the second quarter 14-0. And lo and behold, here we are with, as I say, 3:25 left in the game. And we are tied at 29-29. Portsmouth's in excellent shape right now to punch in a go-ahead score. They're on the 16-yard line with a 3rd down and 6 to go. And I'll tell you, this is a big, big call right here. This play and the next one, too. I'm sure they'll try for another field goal from this distance if this is not successful right
They're
here.
in field goal range
Oh,
now.
absolutely.
All right. Croto's in the slot on the left side. Are they going to try to pass to him? No, they give it to Moody. He dances down one knee, back up again. And he's down at close to the 10-yard line. Close to first down.
Not enough for the first down, though, I don't believe. He's out about the 11-yard line with the spot of the ball. 4th and 1.
I think I said knee down. He started down, but he put his hand down and prevented himself. Portsmouth's going to take a timeout here. And you know what it looked like? It looked like he was trying to center the ball for the field goal kicker because he purposely ran to the middle of that field. And now it's lined up right in the center of the goalpost. The quarterback and the coach are talking in a timeout situation here. And Jason Lodge is saying to the coach, I can tell body language, he's holding his hand up and says, we need the length of a football for a first down, coach.
It's a little more than that. It's the full healthy yard.
But he's pleading with the coach, let's go for the first down. And the coach walks into the huddle, and let's see what they're going to do.
Lodge is staying out there, and he wasn't out there for the field goal attempt, so I'd have to say that they're going to go for it right here.
You're right.
On
There
a
goes
4th
the
and 1
first
at the
unit
11.
back out in there. They had the field goal unit out there, and now the first string backfield is out there. 4th down and 1. Will they fake the dive and go for it all, or will they give it to Croto or Moody and let him worm his way in a yard for the first down?
I think they're going to go for the 1 yard and worry about the going for it all later on. They're at the 11, 4th and 1. Here we go.
One flanker wide on the left side. They haven't thrown to him all night. I formation. They give it to Croto. He goes straight ahead. The Portsmouth kids say that he has the first down. What did the official say? First down, Portsmouth. 2:59 to play here.
First and goal from the 9-yard line.
From that 9.
Needed one. He picked up about 1.5 in there. And
from the I formation, Croto, in the back of the I, just got up a full head of steam and went right up the middle.
First time we've seen the I tonight, I believe.
Well, we're seeing it again right now. From the 9-yard line, Portsmouth I. Croto again, middle of the field. He's to the 5. He gets jockeyed around, and he can't get any further. Good hit down there.
Another one of those Tom Dobney pulls that we have heard so much about over the years when he coaches against his old rival, Jack Gaddy.
If Portsmouth has to settle for a field goal, what they have achieved here is taking valuable time off the clock.
The play, 2nd and goal from the 2nd.
Concord's got a hope for a goal line stand and then a blocked field goal attempt. Now they flank John McMaster on the right side. He is an end who they'll throw to. I formation, power to the left side. Croto gets the call. 5-yard line, 4-yard line, 3-yard line, 2-yard line. He backs in. Touchdown. John Croto. Portsmouth takes the lead. He just wouldn't come down. The desire of that kid away from the 4 all the way in. He just backtracked into the end zone with Concord High kids all over him. He comes off right now with his shoulder pads askew and all out of his uniform. His equipment in complete disarray, but he has the go-ahead 6.
With 1:58 left in the game.
All right, Portsmouth going for the extra point. The ball is up. It is good, and the Clippers take a 36-29 lead. Can Concord gear it up for one more comeback? It's been a series of Concord comebacks tonight. Come back and join us.
With the basketball season coming, it's time for teams to be ordering uniforms and supplies. The best way to do that is by calling Jim Burney at Burney Sports in Concord. At Burney Sports, you'll select from the latest in uniforms, sports clothing, and equipment, and they specialize in team jackets with a great choice of size and styles. Best of all, you won't have to travel all over the state because Jim Burney will come to your home or office. If you're outfitting a basketball team this winter, call Burney Sports now at 224-2131, 224-2131. Friends, they're always there, ready to share your ups and downs to help lighten life's loads, to talk with and trust. At Horizon Bank, we're your friends, and we care about you. That's why each time you stop in, you'll get a warm smile, friendly greeting, and prompt personal service, because that's what a friend deserves. Whatever your financial needs, see us at Horizon Bank today. While we can't take the place of your best friend, we're behind you all the way, ready to share the load. Together, we're strong. Horizon Bank and Trust, 197 Loudon Road, Concord, member FDIC.
Shane Stafford with the football on the run back from the 15 down to about the Concord High School yard line. So the Crimson Tide have 70 yards of real estate between them and tying this game up, and 1:53 to negotiate.
Boy, do you think Ryan's going to come out throwing here?
Almost got to.
Yes.
All right, Milligan in the slot on the right side. Mayo is back there. Matty Ekstrom is back there. Fake to Ekstrom. Back to pass to McGonigal. The ball is in the air. Rob Sawyer over the shoulder and crashing down. And does he hang on? Yes. Great over the shoulder catch. The ball was thrown a little bit in front of him and above him, and he put his 6'5" frame up into the Portsmouth Knight and hauled it down for a Crimson Tide first down.
15-yard pickup on the play, and that's their first down in quite a while, Harvey.
Same formation. Milligan slot right. It is a pitch to Stafford. He turns the corner. He's at the 50, and is he out of bounds with 1:17 to play? The clock continues to run. He was not out of bounds. We're down around 1:10 and counting.
Into Portsmouth territory at the 49-yard line.
Concord High trying to mix up the pass and run right here. They've got to get 6. The field goal is no good. They trail 36-29. Under a minute to play. Same formation. Milligan in the split for the pass out of McGonigal. The fake. He fades back. He's being pressured into the air. Milligan has it at the Portsmouth 35. The clock continues to run on the completion, and Concord takes a timeout.
First down and a pickup of 14 yards on the play.
Well, the officials may have stopped the clock just to move the down markers over there. That gives Concord a chance to regroup. They send the play into the huddle. They start at 44-43. It's not a charged timeout. Ross in the spot on the right side to give Milligan a well-deserved break. 36 seconds to play. The snap, the jump pass. Savoy over the middle. He can't control. Stops the clock with 31 seconds. Second down from the 35-yard line of Portsmouth.
31 seconds left. 36-29 with Portsmouth on top, and Concord has the ball. Second down and 10 at the 5-yard line. And what a finish to this one, Harvey.
Imagine we got a lot of travelers coming through our state on I-89 and 93 and fooling around with the radio, riding up to the mountains. You've tuned into Concord Portsmouth football. 31 seconds left. The Tide trying to tie up the game. A jump pass, a fake. The ball's in the air. It is complete. Rob Sawyer inside the 25, down to the 20-yard line. Timeout, Concord High. The officials stop the clock to move the chains. First at 25 seconds. The ball's on the 25-yard line, and all of a sudden, Rob Sawyer comes alive as an offensive threat with 2 great catches down the stretch.
I'll tell you what, this is incredible to see Concord with a 2-minute drill here. A team that grinds it out the way that they do, with a drive that lasted 8 minutes and 51 seconds in the second quarter. But lo and behold, here they are moving the ball down the field with 25 seconds left, and they now have the ball on the Portsmouth 21-yard line, all the way from their own 30.
What I'm seeing here tonight, folks, is just the reason that I'm involved with high school sports. 2 teams here playing up to their potential, leaving their hearts right out here on the football field, both executing great plays under pressure. And really no loser on this field here tonight. It's just been a great game. Jack Gaddy has been in the huddle. He's in the huddle now.
Ryan has completed passes down the line in this drive, 15 of 14 and 15 yards.
A great effort by both teams. 25 seconds left to play. The ball is at the Portsmouth 26-yard line. First and 10 for the Crimson Tide.
Jack's got his coat off.
He certainly does.
Great night for football. I'll tell you, this is terrific.
I bet Jack Gaddy would like to be lined up at that end right now where he used to play in high school. It is in motion goes Matty Ekstrom to the left side. McGonigal fakes it. He's going to put it in the air. Matty Ekstrom's out there. The ball is down. End zone. It's out of bounds at the goal line. Ekstrom had the distance, but the ball was thrown over the sideline in the corner. McGonigal, who's right-handed, was sprinting to the left side. That's a tough way to have to throw that ball, and just too much effort. Stops the clock with 19 seconds. And Portsmouth in a pass defense, a pass-prevent defense right now. Second down for the Crimson Tide. Donnie Ross, Milligan in the backfield. Flank wide is Ekstrom. Are they going to try to unload it to Ekstrom on that left side? He's 20 yards out there. The give is to Ross, the fake, the sack. McGonigal is down, 14 seconds left to go. And the Crimson Tide, with one last timeout, stops the clock with 11 seconds left to go. A fantastic line rush, pass rush by the Portsmouth High Clippers. Sacked McGonigal at about the 22-yard line.
Loss of 1 on the play, and Ryan never had a chance to really look up the field to see what was going on down there, as he was just surrounded by Portsmouth Clippers as they blew
They
through
tried
the
to
Concord defense.
fake the run, the fullback trap, and I think the play would have been better served had Ryan stepped back, you know, like a passer should, get back away from that rush. But they were trying to fool Portsmouth with a fake run, and Ekstrom had a little bit of daylight out there on that left side then.
Well, so far the difference in the game is a recovered fumble by Portsmouth with 4:19. They held the ball for 2 minutes and 21 seconds, 6 plays, 20 yards, and it was a Sean Croto 6-yard touchdown run that put the Clippers out in front, and Nate Piper a point after touchdown kick, 36-29. There's 11 seconds left to go. Concord has a 3rd and 11 from the Portsmouth 22-yard line.
My guess is that they're going to have to try for Rob Sawyer. He's 6'6", 230 pounds. He's made 2 great catches here, and he is taller, way taller than the Portsmouth defenders back there, and they're just going to have to put it up for grabs and use his side. Rob is on the tight on the right side. Donnie Ross is out on the left side. It is Mayo, the fullback. He's going to throw it. It's in the air. It's in the end zone. And is there a flag down on the play? No. Mayo, the fullback, faked the run around the end and threw a fairly decent pass down there to Donnie Ross. I wish they could have Sawyer. In traffic, Sawyer at 6'6" has the best chance. And so this whole ball game is coming down to this one last snap of the football. 5 seconds left to play, and Concord with one last snap of the ball.
Concord took over the ball with 1:53 left in the game, Harvey. There's now 5 seconds left, and this is the 11th play of this drive. Can you believe it?
Oh, Sawyer is on the right side. Savoy is on the left side. Ekstrom is in the slot. Now he goes in motion. Milligan is in the backfield. Fake to him. McGonagall's going to go for Sawyer. Here it is. It's up in the air. Sawyer's on there. It's up for grabs, and it falls into the end zone. And it's all along the football at the back of the end zone, and Portsmouth wins it 36-29. The Crimson Kids made a valiant effort, a tremendous effort to try to pull this out, and they took it right down to the last play of the game. And for the 9th year in a row, the Portsmouth High Clippers have defeated the Concord High School Crimson Tide in the sport of football. And is it a jinx? 9 years regular season football, Portsmouth High has come up with the victory, and this one here was probably the sweetest. 30-29, and it was anybody's ball game for the entire last period, and what we saw, folks, was a show of tremendous heart and talent and courage by both teams out here. Just a wonderful show. Both teams are out there congratulating each other, and it is a very sincere show of congratulations by both teams out here. They're taking time to talk to each other. The coaching staffs are exchanging pleasantries, and I'm telling you, it's probably a bitter pill for Concord to swallow, Bruce, when they back up the film and they wind this reel on Monday, and they see what happened out here. They got to be proud of their accomplishment. This was just a great show. Portsmouth was a hot team here tonight, and Concord stayed with them.
Absolutely. This has been a terrific football game here tonight, and talk about a pendulum swing with the upside and the downside of football. This was it tonight, with Portsmouth taking the first part of the ball game, Concord totally dominating the middle, Portsmouth grabbing the lead after dominating portions of the fourth quarter, Concord coming right back and scoring it, and turnover late in the game by Concord set up Portsmouth with a fine first and 10 from the 20-yard line of the Crimson Tide, and they were able to punch it in for the winning score, 36-29, the final score. And Harvey, this has been, as you say, one terrific football game here tonight on the Seacoast.
And just probably the best way I can wrap this all up is Peter Gordon, the fullback and the nose guard, and Dave Blossage, who goes both ways in the line. The two of them high-five and hug out at the 40-yard line, and they are now walking off toward the Portsmouth locker room, arm in arm, talking about the game. And that just about sums up what has happened here tonight. Tremendous show of respect, tremendous camaraderie, and it's great to see the kids on both teams now mingling and talking as they go up the hill toward the locker room.
Absolutely, because these are two teams that are in the respect of each other tonight. They both played a real hard, hard-fought football game tonight, and somebody had to win, somebody had to lose, and from a Concord standpoint, not the greatest of news as they come up on the short end tonight, but a tremendous win for the Portsmouth Clippers, who had it in their grasp early on, lost control of the game, and then grabbed it back at the tail end. 36-29, our final score here tonight.
This has very serious playoff repercussions because Concord's record drops to 3-2. Portsmouth's record is now up to 3-2. Jack Addy very definitely says he's figured it out on a computer that 4-4 won't do it, and he's quite sure that 5-3 won't do it this year because of the way the teams are scheduled off the computer, and that's all caused by the fact that there are 18 teams in Class L, and they all only play 8 games, so that it means that there are 10 teams on their schedule they don't even see, or 11 teams they don't even see, and 5-3 is probably not going to make the playoffs. So Concord High now at and Portsmouth at 3-2 can afford probably no more losses, or one at the very most along the way. Concord has Spalding on the road and Dover on the road. Portsmouth also has some tough games down the stretch, but for the Clippers, they're back in the hunt after this tonight. They were out of it, now they're back into it.
Absolutely, and both of these teams could wind up at 3-3 after next weekend's play, as Concord will host Spalding in Concord. Portsmouth Saturday, and next Friday night, a week from tonight, will be up the street in Dover.
Tough games, both tough games, Bruce. You are right. And next Saturday afternoon, Concord High School's homecoming, and Hugo Boland, who somehow gets involved in Concord High homecomings year after year, brings a high-scoring Spalding offense into the capital city next Saturday afternoon. And I think Hugo has a team that can compete with Pinkerton. It comes down to the difference with Pinkerton is Pinkerton has a heck of a defense, and that gets overlooked. No, but Pinkerton has a great defense. That's what's setting them apart from the rest of the state.
Oh, right. That's
Spalding
right, yeah.
can score points. Concord can score points. Spalding can score points. Portsmouth can score points. Pinkerton can score points, but Pinkerton can stop these other guys.
Sure.
And until one of these other coaches can come up with a defense to get out there and stop those high-powered offenses, Pinkerton does have the nod right now as the premier team in the state. I think this Spalding team next year, next week, we're probably going to see another high-scoring game. Spalding has a great offense. Concord obviously does, and it should be a heck of a ball game.
I think that's correct. Spalding should have an easy time toying around with Winnicott tonight, but we'll find that out first thing in the morning. But it will be an interesting remaining 3 weeks of the season. And, boy.
Well, why don't you tell the fans who scored the points tonight? We won't get into drives because there were just numerous drives.
Exactly.
But, listen to this, folks. This was one great game all the way through.
Portsmouth grabbed a 14-0 lead after 1 quarter of play. 23-yard touchdown run and a 75-yard touchdown run by Sean Croto. Nate Piper with the points after touchdown, as I said, 14-0, with Portsmouth totally dominating the Crimson Tide. There is one drive that I am going to mention, though, and that is Concord's drive that lasted 8 minutes, 51 seconds, 16, traveled 73 yards, a 1-yard touchdown run by Andy Milliken. Garrett Stum, the point after touchdown. Concord back in at 14-7, and you had the idea that Concord was going to be able to get back into this thing, and indeed they did. Shane Stafford, a 39-yard touchdown run. Stum, the point after touchdown, was tied 14-14. Concord wins the second quarter, and it is 14-all at the half. The third quarter belonged to the Crimson Tide as they totally dominated Portsmouth through most of the 12 minutes. A 2-yard touchdown run by Andy Milliken, the only score. Stum, the point after touchdown. Concord in control at that point, 21-14. But then things began to turn. Portsmouth would come back with a 19-yard touchdown pass from Jason Lodge to Jim Hogan. And point after touchdown by Nate Piper again, 21-21. And then in the fourth quarter, Portsmouth would score on a 7-yard touchdown run by Keith Moody. They would go for the 1-point conversion, but things would not go well on the snap. It turned into a 2-point conversion by Logan, and it was a 29-21 Portsmouth lead, rather, and the Crimson Tide forced to come back with 8 points of their own just to tie. So what did they do? They came back with 8 points, a 65-down run by Milliken, his third score of the night. It was Ryan McGonigal with a point after touchdown run, and it was 29-29, and a turnover by Concord late in the game with 4 minutes and 19 seconds at the Portsmouth 20-yard line set the Clippers up in fine field position at that point. They were able to take it in 6 plays. Sean Croto, who else, with his third touchdown of the night, and a 6-yard touchdown run. Piper the point after, and it was 36-29. and that's where it ended. Concord moved the ball down the field very well toward the end of the game, taking over on their own 30 with 1:53 to play, and they wound up on the Portsmouth 22-yard line with the ball lying at the back of the end zone all by itself after an incomplete pass. It was a super football game here tonight, and boy, I'll tell you, this is the trip over here and worth all the effort to get on the air with it.
Just a beautiful night here on the coast, weather-wise, very little wind and warm temperatures for the fans, big crowd, and a great show by the kids out on the field and also the bands involved. The Concord High Band put on a terrific show, everybody. They must have been really up for their first trip of the year, and a very special thank you to all you parents back home who got involved with your efforts to get the band here for road trips for Concord High. It was well worth the effort, and they were just a great credit to the community out here. They put on a spectacular show. So fine, in fact, that the large home crowd here at Portsmouth was up applauding the band after every number, and that's nice to see when you come into a stadium like this. Also, the cheerleaders, I didn't mention them too much tonight, and that's because we're on the Portsmouth side of things broadcasting, and we can't see them executing and going through their cheers. I know they were over there working hard, and they were here early. They get here as early as the football team, and they go through a routine of stretching and light jogging and all kinds of limbering up for almost an hour before they even get out there and do their first cheers. I mean, they're very serious bunch of kids, and I'm sure their show was good tonight, but I failed to mention them because we couldn't see them from our athletes.
Yep.
And I want to tell you, I really have a philosophy about games like this, and I know these kids, they may feel bad right now. Kids are resilient, though. They bounce back a lot quicker than we adults do sometimes, and it really is better to have participated in an event like this. And even though you lose, it's better to participate and lose than to never have experienced what happened here tonight. There were no losers. These kids just pulled off a tremendous event, and they executed, and at the end of the game, when time runs out, what happened was time ran out on Concord. They didn't lose the game. I mean, they were driving down, and you play 12 minutes of period, and after 12 minutes, you stop and you go home. And then they brought it down to one last snap of the football from the 21, and it was up for grabs in the end zone. And you can't ask for anything better than that. And one team wins and one team loses, but nobody lost here tonight. This was a great event.
Absolutely, absolutely. Taking us back to the very beginning of the game when you were talking about how Portsmouth loses this game and wins the championship, Concord loses this game and wins the championship. Does that mean that you're predicting Concord's going to win the championship this year?
Well, 5 times in their history, the team that has lost the regular season game between these two schools has come back to win the state title. And, I remember back in 81 when Concord High, with a sophomore, Glenn Matthews, kicking a field goal here. They didn't have lights, and it was SAT Saturday, so the game was kicked off late. And in the failing daylight, it was almost dark here. They were ringing cars around that track, and they went into overtime. And in the second overtime inning, Glenn Matthews kicked a field goal to beat Portsmouth 16-13. Concord had already beaten Salem that year, and Portsmouth beat Salem for the state title. So that was that's just an indication. Dave Surratt in '74 brought Concord, coached Concord to its first championship in 50 years. He has one loss that year, the Portsmouth Clippers. So, okay, Bruce, you make a good point. Will Concord come back from this? First of all,
join us on November 16th.
If they have any kind of a hope, they've got to win 2 of their last 3.
Right.
And maybe if the computer tells Jack, they might have to win all 3 of them to get in. Right. It's going to be a tough year. Last year, the top 6 teams were 7-1. Only 8 go.
Right.
He said this year, last year the top 6 teams were 7-1. The 7th team was 5-3, and the 8th team, Concord, was 4-4. He says it isn't going to happen this year. He says you're going to see 6-2s down there, and he's the head man, and we're not going to dispute him. But it was a whale of a ball game, folks. Final score: 36 for Portsmouth, 29 for Concord. A series of outstanding comebacks by both teams. Next week, our broadcast will be right back there in the capital city. It is Concord High School's homecoming. And they have a lot planned for your fans. Come on out to the ball yard. Bring your transistor radios and pick up the broadcast. The homecoming queen will be announced. There will be a float contest, all kinds of activity going on, and it will be all in all a real great show. The band is gearing up for its best performance in 2 years under our man Bill Matavier, and it should be a nice show. And of course, Hugo Boland's Red Raiders, that's worth the price of admission alone. They have a high-powered offense this year. Yeah, off this 36-29 score here tonight, Concord Spalding should have a whale of a game next week, Bruce.
Really should, Harvey. And we want to take just a moment to say thank you to all of the folks who helped get us on the air tonight. New England Telephone, who put woman duty in here for a couple of days trying to get it away. There were some problems that were created when they cut the conduit and the phone lines leading into the press box here when they redid the field for the beginning of last season. And we also want to thank Wayne Lee, who is from Bow and is on the custodial staff here at Portsmouth. And Wayne did a great job getting us a little bit of a platform for our table out here in the stands and whatnot. And really a lot of cooperation by everybody over here on the Seacoast tonight. We also, of course, want to thank our sponsors, who include the Allied Insurance Agency at 500 South Street on the Bowtown line, by the S&W Sports Shop at 238 South Main Street in Concord, the Horizon Bank on Loudon Road in the capital city, Denroy Shoes near the State House on North Main Street in Concord, by the capital city law firm of Rath, Young, Pignatelli, and Oyer, and Bernie Sports of Concord. That's going to do it for our broadcast here on this Friday night. The Portsmouth High Clippers coming out on top by a score of 36-29 over the Crimson Tide of Concord High. Join Harvey and I next Saturday afternoon as we bring you the Concord Spalding game from Memorial Field in Concord. We are going to be switching over to the Red Sox on the WKXL AM and FM here very shortly. And, well, for the final time, the score, Portsmouth 36, Concord 29. For my partner, Harvey Smith, I'm Bruce Lavoie. Have a good weekend, everybody.